You're watching the Action Sports Jax 24/7 network. Now it's time for the Brent and Austen Show.
Hey, welcome in on a Wednesday, a week away from schedule release day. I guess that's the new news. We're going to wait until next week and a Wednesday. NFL trying to stay unpredictable. They're going to marry it to the Christmas calendar, I guess, also on a Wednesday this year.
Yeah, it's kind of lame, man. I was expecting it this Thursday, and then also you're just going to, I guess, like the beats aren't ready. You know, like you got to go back to the studio a little more and work on some stuff. Like if you're going to tease something, put it out when you tease it.
Well, in fairness to the NFL, they don't tease it. Everybody else
teases
right?
it. Okay.
Like, so it's a little bit of that. But I get what you're saying, too. I mean, it's like, come on. I mean, how much time do we need for this stuff? But I actually think there's a part of the NFL, and I think they are very much in tune with this now. I don't think they always work this way, but I think they now understand, and they fell on stuff where people just keep buzzing about it, right? So why not wait? Why not wait another week? You'll get other people talking about it. The anticipation grows for it to come out. And do I think that really matters Thursday to next Wednesday? Maybe not, but I think there's a little bit of that, like, hey, if we're not 100%, there's no harm here. First of all, we've got to be 100% because we can't go back on the schedule. And secondly, if somebody else needs more time to put a video together or whatever else, and the organizations are asking us for another 5 days, or maybe that's it. There's got to be something that set it back. I don't know which one it is. Like the computer doesn't sleep. So, I mean, the algorithm is fine. They got to be able to push that thing out. But I in a sense, I feel like this is, I think they're on Park Ave or something in New York. This is the NFL headquarters on Park Ave saying, why don't we let you guys stir about this for another 6 days?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's going to eventually turn out to be like, hey, we're going to release it during training camp, you know, and let's go ahead and delay this process as much as possible. Because if we learn from professional wrestling, when you delay the process of Cody Rhodes getting the belt, it builds up, it builds up, it builds up, and then the moment is even bigger than expected. So who knows? Maybe next year they'll wait till training camp. Maybe if the following year it'll be like week 1. Okay, here's the release right now, right before you have to go travel or you host a home game.
Jason Hamby, what's happening? Good to have you back, man.
What's going on, fellas?
Welcome back, Kids Corner.
Kids Corner is back. Once a weeker.
Once a weeker.
That's me.
What you been up to, man? What's new?
The news life, man. It's real fun time.
Get him out of there, Brent. guys begging get out of there.
I know. We did the worst thing for him.
Yeah.
We actually got him out of there, gave him a taste of getting out of there like half the time, and then had to put him back in there.
Yeah. Hamby, is it a lot, like, in terms of, like, more work? Like, is it harder to do the news part, or is it harder to do, like, the sports stuff? Because, I mean, you got a lot of stuff going on back there, and then the drive-through window in the kids' corner.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably harder to do news just because you do the things. It's easier to do things that you care a lot about.
Don't say that.
No, that's true. It's harder to do news because it
You don't care.
Sometimes sucks doing the news.
Got it. Okay. I'm trying to help Hamby out in the future. Okay, man. Trying to help you out. Never mind.
I told him that in my opening interview.
Smart. Good stuff.
That's how you got the
shout out to Cox Media.
Listen, hey, just go take a walk out there. You'll see.
I guess.
You don't need to hear it.
Yeah. I mean, on top of like yesterday's conversation and now this, I feel like we're trending down an interesting path.
I will say this, though. There's something that has always irked me, and I still see it, and I hear grown-ups see it, and I get where it's coming from. I say grown-ups. I meant like people that have been in the business for a long time, and I hate when it's said. Like, people would refer to the sports world as like the toy department. That's what they would call it. Like, that's like an old school thing to say. I don't know if you hear that, Hamby, as a young guy, but people will say, like, if you listen to an old sports broadcaster, not even old, but, 20-something years in or whatever, they're like, sports is the toy department. It's like toy department. And it's like, I don't like that connotation at all. No, it's not.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think it is the toy department, really. I get what you're saying in terms of, hey, it's fun. It's something more people are passionate about. You can buy into. I mean, it's really hard to sit there and get passionate about talking about murders and things like that on the news. Like, that's a tough thing. I understand it. Mm-hmm. And it's different. I mean, is there anything different than, like, if you really love weather and you're in is the weather a toy department? I mean, they literally do have toys, like, with all their equipment. So
they look like fun too, man. I don't want to drive that storm chaser thing around.
But it can be serious. We got tornadoes in the Midwest.
Yeah,
and all
but
that stuff, right?
Do people still think like that?
I don't think they think as much like it. You don't hear it as much, but you still will hear it. And I think it gives a connotation off. It always has. It's bothered me in my career like that when it's done that because I don't think it's really true. I don't think that's a good indication of it. And actually, I'm really going into business this week.
Man, you're really going after some people
One more
here.
final thought.
Yeah,
One more final thought.
Okay.
So I always said this about like growing up in this business.
Okay.
Because when I got into the business, I was on the back end of the super glory days of like local TV. Okay. The glory days of local TV were like in the 80s and the 90s when you didn't have like 150 cable outlets and things like that to go to, right? When I was interning in Providence, we were still showing highlights from the Red Sox game the last night at 6 o'clock and leading with it. Mm-hmm. Like, you wouldn't do that now. You hardly show highlights that night because everybody's seen them. You got to analyze things now. Like, so you do things a little bit different. But, like, it was the heyday. Like, TV was probably in the 80s and 90s. I mean, people around here were probably making crazy money and stuff. So, as a sports person, you could, let's just call it, if you wanted to be, you could be kind of lazy and still get your job done. You go do that's where those connotations come in. You can be, hey, walk back in or rip things off or do highlights. That has not been the story in the local sports world for the last 20 years. So I always would say growing up in the business, because I saw the shift, I saw the change, I was kind of in that. I was like, I'm going to write a book someday that said local sports directors killed local sports TV. Because I think they got this like narrative that they were just like going out to movies in between shows and then coming back. Like that legitimately would happen. Like there were guys that I knew in the industry would go to like do their show, go to watch a movie, come back and do the shows at night.
Sounds awesome.
It sounds like a good gig.
Sounds like
but that's
life.
Where like people got the connotation of that.
So is this more of like a local thing or is this like a national thing too? Okay,
well,
so we don't
way,
have to like go to war with Anderson Cooper. Anderson Cooper's not running his mouth about sports people.
No,
like we're all good. Okay.
No, I mean, but really the start of the local TV stuff, like this kind of conversation that changed it, was ESPN. I mean, ESPN killed or was almost tried to kill local TV in some spots from sports standpoint.
So like, but like ESPN's like covering like high school sports. Well, not you. I mean,
thank you. Tell consultants that.
Okay. I mean, I don't know. I think it was kind of obvious.
No, well, I know, but like, listen, I always say this and people are amazed. Detroit, Michigan, Atlanta, Georgia, Orlando, Florida. I'll give you 3 markets that are top 20. There are stations in those markets for a long period of time in the last 15, 20 years that did not do sports. They did not have sports departments. Think about that.
Orlando didn't?
Orlando didn't. They brought it back. I think Atlanta didn't, brought it back. And I don't know about Detroit one. I'm assuming they brought it back. Think about Detroit. They've got professional sports, baseball, football, basketball, hockey.
Yeah.
And they didn't, and they killed their sports departments out of it. And a lot of it was because, you can go watch it on ESPN. You can watch the highlights of the Red Wings on ESPN. You can watch a highlight, So, but I think it's actually totally reversed now. It's actually switched back a little bit because of the priority on sports, because of the attention on sports, because of our sports culture. High school sports do matter, right? Local sports things do matter. So it's kind of shifted a little bit. So another TED Talk here on local TV for all you aspiring broadcasters. Hamby, you're one of them.
Trying to be.
I don't know if I need to write the book anymore.
No?
But it was true.
Trying to be a New York Times bestseller one day?
Yeah, I don't think that many people would be interested.
Yeah, that's the thing.
That's the thing about that. You ever think about like writing a book?
Oh, yeah. I mean, yeah.
And then you're like, okay, but who would really care about this?
Well, I wouldn't write a book. I mean, it'd be fiction if I wrote a book. I'm not going to write anything about my life. I mean, I got some cool stories to share, but no, if I'm going to write something, it's going to be fiction.
Yeah. Yeah, but like you write,
use my creativity.
You write something fiction because of creativity, or you write something that you're passionate about.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, I told you, man, I have a movie treatment ready to go that I had right in college for a class. Just been chilling in my Sony Vaio hard drive in my laptop.
You also have, I remember you said that, you also had a very good idea of a different like podcast form that you haven't executed yet. And I might have to remind you of it. I mean,
it's in the back of my mind. I just, I'm
not going to say it.
Yeah, you don't have to say it. I mean, I'm sure it's already been done. I mean,
I don't know.
I'm not going to name the giant music mogul that it is, but they tried to do it, but they didn't, like, that's all I'm going to say. There was an attempt to do it, but they messed up because they don't do it anymore.
Oh, really?
That they tried it, but like they didn't do it the proper way. That's all I can say.
So you don't think it worked? It just didn't work because they didn't do it right.
They didn't. Their vision just wasn't.
Which,
what
by
it
the
was
way,
supposed to
is
be.
how really good things happen, right? Somebody
Yeah.
will try something, doesn't work the right way, and then you kind of fix what they messed up, and then boom, it hits, or it hit at the wrong time.
Yeah.
Sometimes people are early to the game.
The biggest thing, if I'm going to do it though, I need to get like a certain amount of guests. Like I don't want to like, all right, it's like a startup. No, I want to come out the gate swinging because I feel like with podcasts, like if you're not established, then you got to have big names. You got to come out the gates like right away, get people's attention.
Yeah. We got some fun stuff today on the show, by the way. Austin Rivers. What are you talking about? Not Austen Lane, but Austin Rivers.
Yeah.
How about that?
Yeah. People are going at his throat too, Brent.
Are they going after him?
JJ Watt went after him.
I had a big high
bit.
school baseball game last night, so that's the one
good.
time I'll stay off Twitter.
You're good. No worries.
I'm into my own bubble.
Yeah.
But I did see it. And so now it's Reddit going out. Somebody else went after him. Like, you couldn't be good in either one. Who was it that said that?
Well, that was J.J. Watt said that.
Oh, that was Watt.
Yeah, he said that, well, you don't have a – there we go. You don't have a job in either right now. Go ahead and try it.
So here's the deal. I can take 30 players right now in the NBA and throw them in the NFL. You cannot take 30 NFL players and put them in the NBA. And, well, how wild or crazy is this? Because we've done this before. In fact, we did this a few years back. We said, which sport has the greatest athletes?
Yep.
And I think you landed on the NBA.
Oh, hands down. NBA, hands down. Yep.
I don't know if I hands down agreed with you, but I mean, get you.
Watch Wemby.
Yeah.
That's all I got to say. Watch Wemby.
Yeah.
Like, that's...
Yeah, we think
You're
great
not gonna
athletes.
see
We think
that.
explosion, right? We think that high flying.
I think of coordination. I think of quickness. I think of just, that's being an athlete. And, like, yeah, could Wemby make it in an NFL training camp? Absolutely not. He would probably be out
That's true.
practice number 2.
Yeah, and that's fair.
In terms of a freak athlete, yeah, man, he has it. Now, Hamby, do you have the picture that I sent you of Austin Rivers? Because here's the thing. The fact that it's Austin Rivers irks me more than anything.
Is that part of this?
That's definitely part of this. Because, okay, I guess I think you're like a commentator now. You're doing your thing. Your dad, is a decent coach, I guess. People in Milwaukee would say different right now.
Is that what Austin Rivers is doing? He's doing
I think he might be doing. I have no idea what the guy's doing.
He's been out of the league.
I think he's been out of the league. But, like, that's what rubs me the wrong way. It's not like you have, like, a LeBron or, like, a big name in the NBA saying this. You have a guy who, by all means, is kind of an afterthought trying to go after the NFL and NFL players. And obviously NFL players, being who they are, suck up for themselves.
Yeah, I don't think he's right. But investigate a little bit further. If you're saying the best athletes are in the NBA, see, my problem with them playing in the NFL is, like, you can't play in the NFL at their size for the most part. Once you get over, like, 6'6", very few NFL players have been good.
No, for sure. But
Calais Campbell, there are guys, but it's not a long list.
This was the picture that NBA Central used to get us point across.
He looks like Andrew Tate.
He looks like Andrew Tate, but you know what this picture screams to me? It screams load management. What are you clutching your pearls for? What are you doing in this picture?
Nah, this is like, I'm about to set the internet on fire.
Okay, maybe.
That's what that
I'm just saying, like, you don't see a lot of football players. I mean, like, listen, there's a lot of football outfits, and we broke down Stephon Diggs outfit yesterday and everything. You ain't going to see a lot of NFL players doing this picture right here. I don't know what you got going on here. This is like the Drake in your feels kind of picture. But the fact that he said 30 players is asinine. All right, there's not 30 NBA players right now that could come in and play in the NFL. But I do think NBA players might have a better easy transition to come, a select few, to come play in the NFL than NFL players going to the NBA. And I say that because of, Tony Gonzalez, Antonio Gates.
All tight ends.
Jimmy Graham. Well, it doesn't matter. It's still an important position.
Oh, no, I'm saying,
Okay,
tight end primarily is an easy shift, right?
Correct.
Well, not easy, but a shift over that translates because we've seen it before. The college game and even guys that were really good in basketball. I would say defensive end maybe would have a chance too because you can have some height, right? But I don't know if you got the bend in the NBA. Like, you have to have the bend from that pass rush standpoint.
No, without a doubt. But also I think, like, he's making it sound like, it's the easiest thing ever, and that couldn't be any farther from the truth. Because, once again, you're coming from a league that celebrates load management.
Yeah.
If you celebrate load management, you ain't going to make it through an NFL training camp, let alone an NFL season.
Like Austin Rivers, what would he play? Punter? I mean, like he couldn't play any position on the field other than like a kicker or a punter if he had a good leg.
I think we're all set. You know what I'm saying? And like once again, how many times I got to see an NBA player flop, to try to sell a foul, like, and then you're going to bring that mentality to the gridiron? Best of luck. Now, once again, I'm not taking away from, great basketball players who became NFL players because, once again, there is some correlation between the tight end position, maybe a defensive end position, and all of that. But I'm not going to say you could take 30 players right now and get no. Stupid comment.
I actually think you have way more NFL players that would fit in the NBA game, like just physique-wise, style-wise, than you would to what you just said about the NBA guys fitting in the NFL game. There are really two positions that an NBA guy could play in the NFL. I mean, unless you're just a massive, like if you're that NC State kid, right?
Yeah.
Who's not in the NBA, but if you're that NC State kid, you can maybe move to offensive line. There are a few of those guys. But the tight end position you said, I think defensive end makes some sense. There's nobody playing in the middle of a defensive line. There's nobody playing linebacker from the NBA. There's nobody playing the secondary. Maybe a jump ball wide receiver. I mean, I guess.
I mean, I don't know. There's some quick guys in the NBA. Like, listen, I'm not like, this isn't me.
Yeah, but also physically you got to play there.
No, for sure. I know. But once again, okay, you want to take NFL players? Like, they released the T. Higgins basketball highlights, which was, by the way, super impressive. If you haven't seen the T. Higgins high school basketball highlights, go and do yourself a favor and check that out. It's unreal.
Really?
His hops. Like, I almost like thought, hey, Brian Thomas, T. Higgins, come on. Like, it's that impressive, Brent. Like, it's ridiculous of how athletic T. Higgins is. Because sometimes I think he gets kind of slept on in terms of the speed and athleticism just because he's a big kind of tall receiver.
I think you're right there.
Dude's got some athleticism in spades. But nevertheless, so I'm not like, oh, we got it?
I'm working on it.
All right, cool. Work on it, Hamby. Appreciate you. But at the end of the day, Brent, like, you're not going to take 30 guys from the NBA and come to the NFL. But I also think, how many NFL players can go to the NBA right now and score, I don't know, 10, 20 on a guy like Wemby?
Yeah, not many, but
maybe. I mean, I'd love to see one.
Yeah, but I think there's a lot of receivers that could go play the swing position. Like that height, that size. Like, I think they could play that. I mean, again, you're talking like
Brent,
Higgins. Brian Thomas Jr., actually, by the way, was a heck of a basketball player coming out of high school, like
Brent,
a highly recruited guy, I think. Trayvon Walker was a hell of a basketball player.
Brent, but I saw the highlights and everything, but you're saying like receivers, Brent, they're like 6'3", tops. 6'3" in the NBA is laughable.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you're right. Most of them are now 6'3", 6'2".
If you're 6'3" in the NBA, you better be the best point guard because like you better be a point guard.
Yeah,
because you ain't gonna be the swing.
Why do I feel like Tyreek Hill would be a very good point guard? No?
I mean, does he have handles? I don't know. I mean, he's fast, yeah, but like basketball, you need more than just being super athletic. Like, you need more than just like speed. You got to have the handles, got to have the coordination. It's just
so maybe Austin Rivers is more right than people are saying, though.
No, you know where I stand. I think the come over from the NBA to the NFL is a lot more than the NFL to the NBA. So yeah, I mean, I agree with. I don't want to say I agree with Austin Rivers, but like I see how more NBA players could probably come over and play football than NFL players come over and play at the highest level basketball.
Yeah.
But it's not going to be 30 of them.
Well,
like that's what rubbed me the wrong
number,
way.
Right?
Because now you're getting cocky.
If he had said 10 or something, it might have made a little more sense.
And you know what? In Austin Rivers, you ain't one of those guys either.
Well, it's also coming from him. That's a bit of the problem. Like if Charles Barkley said this, right?
Yeah.
Charles Barkley, he said, hey, 10 guys. And now it'll be interesting to see if Barkley comments on it. Well, I'm sure he will. I think like he could have got away with saying it and people wouldn't have done anything. I think a little bit of it was Austin Rivers and the amount of players in it. I do think there are select. I mean, listen, we have two sports stars very infrequently, from Deion Sanders to Brian Jordan to who's like the most recent. Well, we almost had Kyler Murray, right? Kyler Murray was high pick in baseball. He was going to be, and obviously high pick in football. So it's very hard to do that. Like that is. So I tend to agree with you. Like, you can't just say because you're a good athlete. Like, people have done that a lot with LeBron. Say, hey, LeBron would be a heck of a football player. He might be. Might be a really good football player. Like, I don't know. He might also, we've done this before. Like, what if we took all our best athletes and put them on the soccer field? Would we be better than anybody in the world at soccer?
No way.
If we trained, I'm not saying just put them there. I'm just saying if they train to play soccer, if our best athletes, instead of training to play football,
since they were kids?
Yeah, because that's what they do in other countries.
Oh, so
they train to play soccer. That's the premier sport, right?
Yeah. No, I mean, if you took the best athletes in the United States and they trained since they were 2 or 3 years old, and you put them through the paces and the gruels of training, then yeah, you probably would have the best soccer team in the world.
I got it when y'all are ready.
Hit me up. Is this the Tians?
Yeah.
Man, Brent, get ready for this.
Foul situation.
This is unreal.
More to go as T's gonna dunk it.
I mean, from the free throw line, T.
Rebounded by T. Higgins. T brings it up the court.
This is
And
high
now
school.
This
This is high school, and I'm sorry, sir. I was not familiar with your game when it came to basketball.
The funny thing is here, he doesn't even look that tall to me in some of that video.
Well, I mean,
Well, once
is
again,
this from 1995 or was
6'3".
this 6 years ago?
VHS, right?
Huddle, baby. Huddle
This is
huddle has increased. Huddle's
let him know, T. Let him know, T.
Oh, boy.
Is that between the legs? I couldn't even really tell, but
Pixels.
impressive.
That is impressive.
Yeah. Now, I mean, can he score in Wemby?
Probably not.
not.
No, probably not to your point.
Yeah.
Right?
So-
It's one thing to be good in high school. It's another thing to be good in college. It's another thing to be good in the NBA. Look at some of the best players in college can't even be good in the NBA.
Yeah.
Right? I think we have to factor that in.
Yeah.
And by the way, some of the best players in college that get drafted in the first round still can't play in the NFL.
For sure. So at the end
That's
of
all
the
hard. So you can't just dismiss this and broad brush it. And that's why the 30 number is ridiculous.
Exactly. Yeah, the 30 number is ridiculous. Austin Rivers thinking he can do it is ridiculous. At the end of the day, I'll just concede to this. The proof is in the pudding. There's more basketball players that became NFL stars than football players that became basketball
That's
stars.
true.
And that's a fact. And if we're going off that, if we're going off history, if we're going off the stats, then yeah, Austin Rivers made a point. But the point is once again, asinine because you're not going to take 30 guys, including yourself, and come to the NFL. And could they even handle a training camp? I think not.
Yeah, the one last thing. Yeah, that's a good point. One last thing. One sport we sleep on in terms of best athletes, explosive athletes, is track and field.
Thought you were going to say golf. I was getting ready to lose my mind.
Track and field, though, unbelievable. But we've even tried to get track and field guys in the game in the NFL, and it hasn't always worked. Now, there's a lot of folks. In fact, we have regionals going on right here at UNF at Hodges Stadium for high school, and I think there's a Florida State commit that just won everything yesterday in whatever I think Class 2A. And so we get a lot of that. I think we get a lot of crossover in high school football and high school basketball to track, and I think we get it in college too. A lot of the Gators, like some of the speedsters of the Gators over the years, but also on the track and field team too. So, but I don't think necessarily just because you can run. What we found out is just because you can run fast, Usain Bolt wouldn't necessarily be good at football.
Correct. Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And people have tried that though. Like I remember, I always bring up the guy Jax got, and we thought we were so excited because he ran so fast. He was a track guy, but he was a little dude, and it's just like, well, you still got to break a tackle or not get tackled.
Still have to catch. Still have to have the agility.
And you got to run with pads on.
Run with pads on.
And a football in your hand.
Running in a straight line is different than obviously juking defenders and things like that.
So
if you want to talk about that, the proof is in the pudding.
Hit me with it.
That's CJ Stroud.
Yeah, that was.
Yeah, a lot of people go to this stuff. And
Go to it.
I'm not a big fan of it.
Brett, this is your rating rookie of the year at quarterback, and that's how you throw a baseball?
So bad. Dude.
Hand me one more time for the kids at home, please.
Yeah, this got a lot of attention.
That didn't go to school because sick day or something. Kids should probably get scored. Brett, come on. Brett, that's swaggerless.
It is. It's terrible. But it's a bet. Like, yeah, you would never know. Like, this is what people say. Would you ever know that guy's like the rookie of the year?
Hey, would you know
Like
that,
a
that guy
pancake.
throws for a living?
Yeah, but like the football,
Oh.
see, I don't give that as much.
Here we go.
What, you throw the football from the ear,
Here we go.
right?
I mean, yeah, mostly. I mean, I
basically-
get a little more.
Yeah,
back
you
into
do.
it. Yeah,
But
I'm
quarterbacks
like the Blake Bortles Egyptian thing. I go back a little more. I'm walking like an Egyptian.
Hamby,
I sling
you
it.
don't throw a baseball from your ear.
No, I threw a football, everything about 3/4.
See, I'm the same way, Hamby.
Yeah.
That,
What are you shaking your head about?
yeah, okay.
Brett,
Did
it's
you
gotta
play
look-
quarterback?
Yeah. I mean, I am flags. I can throw a football 60 yards. I'll go out there right now and do it. I promise you, I was.
What did you just say?
I am flags.
Did I
thought.
just ask him if he played quarterback and he brought up flag football?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Of course.
champion.
Yes, he is him.
My claim to fame is in 9th grade. I was throwing the football in the gym during PE, and a Providence high school football coach at the time didn't know me, and said, "Who the heck are you? Come play quarterback." After watching me throw a football in khaki pants at the gym, and baseball players were not allowed to play. And I will throw dots.
I'll throw dots.
I just don't take hits.
Dipping dots.
No hits.
Just pull my flag.
No, just pull my flag.
Pull my flag.
Double rusher on a 7v7 double rush. From the line of scrimmage, we're evading right. We're throwing back across the body left. Sidearm Stafford, no look for a touchdown in left corner of the end zone. Am I going to have to find this highlight for you guys?
This
Love
is
to
what
see
this
it.
guy does in the newsroom. This is what he envisions.
Fantasizes about playing football?
Fantasizes about.
Oh, dude, it's the biggest regret of my life that I never played tackle football. I'm not even lying to you.
That's funny you say that. Like but since we're going back to the glory days at Union Elementary School, my buddy Pat and I used to take on the whole rest of the school. Okay, so I was good back then too in football.
And okay.
But I will actually come
On the
with you
playground?
there.
Like, I mean, be more specific.
No,
You should take on the whole
cement.
school. Okay, gotcha.
On the
Okay,
cement.
okay.
Yeah, on the parking lot.
Okay.
All right. I
Yep.
mean, but Hammy just went to flag football, and I asked him about
I know.
quarterbacking.
I
All
know.
right. So I'm going back to when we were in 4th grade, and we ruled the school. 2 of us against like 40.
Unbelievable.
Wait, so you did 2-on-40 football?
Yeah.
Brett, I don't think it
All
worked
right,
out
Brett,
well.
Okay, Brett,
Brett, come on now.
Do you believe that I could throw a football 60 yards?
No, I don't.
No.
Okay. Can we go out to UNF?
Yeah, we will. We'll
You
take a
didn't
live.
even ask me, and I'm saying no.
We'll do it.
Yeah,
We'll do it.
6 yards is pretty long ways now.
I understand.
Okay.
I don't believe.
No wind aid either.
No wind aid.
Like if it's like over 8 mile per hour, we're shutting it down for the next day.
That's right. But
We're gonna have Mike Burris in
My
there with
one
the
caveat. My one caveat. I get to use my football.
No,
Pro size football.
absolutely, it's gonna be-
football.
I'm-
Slightly
I'm-
deflated.
yeah, exactly. Slightly inflated. See, now we're talking. Yeah.
No, hey, Stroud throws 60 yards from his ear hole, though. He doesn't need to cock it back. Like,
Okay, but I'm just saying when you can't throw a baseball, it's not hurting the fact of hey, how much of an athlete are you?
I do think, though, you take this doesn't surprise me because you take basketball and you take football, which we would say 2 of the best athletes that we have on the planet,
Sure.
right?
Yes.
And,
Agreed.
And the bat and ball sports, the hand-eye sports are not always a pretty thing to look at. Like, guys can't hit a baseball. Like, it shows you how hard it is. Like, we would say in the baseball world, yeah, come hit a baseball because it's the hardest thing to do in sports. Like, that's what baseball players think. That's what baseball people think. If you watch golf swings, like those aren't, if you watch them play tennis, it would look awkward. Not everybody, but I think if you watch those kind of sports, the racket and ball sports, the hand-eye sports, I think you can see a lot of the greatest athletes look very awkward playing them. For whatever reason.
Yeah.
I don't know why that is, but basketball would be the same way. I think you could get LeBron James and he'd look goofy throwing a baseball and trying to hit one.
I mean, any
Hopefully we don't see that.
Good high school baseball player is going to tell you our argument is that you stick us in a high school football field, a high school basketball court, and we can compete.
Oh, here we go.
I'm saying high school. I'm not saying
I know.
any level past that.
I know.
But all of those guys, you can compete. You're not going to be necessarily great, but you can compete in high school football. You could compete in high school basketball because you can shoot and you can throw a football and you can catch and you can run.
It's way too much action for you guys, Amber. You're not going to know what to do. You can't chew sunflower seeds. You're going to be in the game the entire time. You can't sit on the bench
on the sideline.
You can't sit on the bench for 30 minutes and wait for your turn. Like, no, there's going to be nonstop action. You guys can't handle it.
Yeah.
Next question.
Listen, I don't like this. Like, I've done this argument before, and I'm a baseball guy, but I don't really pound my chest at this argument. I just think they're different sports. I really do. I think they're different. And I will say, I do think hitting a baseball, if you watch some of the video out there in Major League Baseball, is one of the hardest things, if not the hardest things to do in sports.
But
no doubt.
But let me ask you this: if you're going to base
Physics will tell us that.
somebody's athleticism on one thing, whether it's like throwing a football, throwing a baseball, shooting a jump shot, like what are you basing? All right, this guy's an athlete who's not an athlete off of one thing. What would you do then to base it off of?
Yeah, that's a really good question. Like, what comes in my mind?
Yeah.
That's a good question.
Hamby, feel free to chime in too from the kids' corner.
I think you're going to go. It's not a jump shot, by the way. I would think you go back to like a dunk. Like I think that your athleticism is showcased so much. But
sure.
But you know what? You know what I really appreciate more than ever before, especially covering football as much as I do now, is like a guy like Josh Allen, a guy like Trayvon Walker, to be able to bend the way those guys bend at their size, as big as they are. These guys are massive specimens. And to be able to move at 4.51 and a 40 and bend and still physically be able to be so violent at the point of attack, to have all those things. Like, I could actually sit here and tell you that pass rusher that's elite, that might be the most impressive thing you see from a movement standpoint in sports.
Yeah, but like what? It's got to be one thing. Like, so for instance,
I think it's agility.
Agility. Okay, see, and this is like, it's counter what I've been talking about, but like to me, it's almost a 40-yard dash. Because like I watched Micah Parsons run the 40-yard dash, and I'm like, yeah, this guy's too good not to be, like, you know, he's too fast not to be good in the NFL.
Really?
Like, and once again, it's just one thing. Like, yeah, you can, one move, all right, can you watch like a defensive end dip? All right, that may show you something, but like, I think, and once again, you don't want to put a lot of stake on the 40-yard dash, but if you have a 300-pound guy or a guy who's a defensive end moving at a 4.4 or 4.5, you can kind of tell, like, all right, this dude is the real deal in terms of athleticism. Now, will he be a great player? You know, time will tell. But I think in terms of sheer athleticism, a guy that big moving that fast tells you everything that you need to know about him.
I think that's kind of agility.
I think actually, you know what's funny?
The ability to move fast and easy.
See, I think of agility, Hamby, and I think of like the shuttle is like more of agility. Okay. Because like to me, agility is more of like change of direction, change of movement. And once again, like that's definitely an important attribute too in any sport.
Right.
But I'm just saying, if you give me one, I'll probably take the 40.
That is interesting. You know what else is interesting? You say agility. We don't say agility at all with guys under 250 pounds. 40 pounds. 100%. We only use the word agility with guys that are huge. Yeah. Like, it's fun, which is kind of funny. I tend to agree with you because I want to stay right at the root of what you asked at the 40-yard, but I was actually going to go to the shuttle. To see a guy move and be coordinated and all that stuff in the shuttle, I think showcases more. It shows burst. It shows the agility. It shows all these different things. And I think I'm a little scarred by the fact that 40-yard dash, I mean, we have so many examples of guys that run the 40-yard dash that look so good athletically and stink.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But that's not what you're asking. You're asking what showcases someone's athleticism the most. And that gets us back to track and field. I think that's why people love the 100-meter dash, right? I mean, I think that's the snapshot of these great athletes. Did they actually coin the phrase that, like, when Usain Bolt, is that like the greatest athlete?
I don't know. I don't think I've ever heard.
When you win the 100 in the Olympics, are you kind of?
I mean, world's fastest man.
Oh, maybe that's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
But just there, right? World's fastest guy.
Well, I think greatest athletes like the heptathlon or whatever, right? Isn't that what they call the world's greatest athlete?
Yeah, maybe. But anyway, I think you're probably right. I think maybe that straight line speed, which actually is kind of interesting because there can be a guy out in the neighborhood right now that doesn't know how to dribble, catch, shoot, hit, anything, and he could probably run a 40-yard dash like really well.
Sure.
And you don't even know who he is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's kind of wild that anybody could do it.
Well, and there's a guy named Jokic who can dribble really well. And you put him on the 40-yard dash, and
6'5".
It's painful.
Yes, it would be painful.
It looks like he's in pain running it.
That's a good question.
Yeah.
I like that. We'll be back. Brent and Austen Show just getting going. More sports than already yesterday.
Seriously?
Nice, Brent.
Listen, we had a fun time yesterday on the show, man.
We talk sports.
We did talk sports.
Yeah.
I thought we had a great question for Trevor Lawrence, by the way. I think we have a lot of people disagreeing with you about Trevor Lawrence.
Because the way you worded it. You didn't. You
always say this. How did I word it? I just put it out there.
It's the way that you word it. We'll talk about that next, man. Everything you tweet is always tweeted towards your stuff and not actually like the general realm. No, but we'll get into it next. I can't wait.
Such a sore loser.
No, I can't wait to get into it.
We'll be back on the Action Sports Jax 24/7 network. Everyone loves a good game night. Here you don't have to be the host. You don't have to clean up. They bring the food and drinks to you, and you can watch whatever you want on the big screens. It's more than a card room. It's a night full of fun with friends. Best Bet Jacksonville, Orange Park, and now the newest location here in St. Augustine, right off 95 at exit 311. A brand new clean room, a full bar and menu, my favorite sushi in town. And I love the fries too. You don't have to just play poker at Best Bet. That's why I come over here to the table games and play one-card poker. That's a pretty good card and a win. One-card poker is like war as a kid, you against the dealer. And this isn't the only fun table game to play. A friendly staff, a lot of fun. It's a good night out at Best Bet Jacksonville Orange Park and the newest location in St. Augustine. You can be a serious player or a novice. It doesn't matter. If winning equals fun, you're a winner every time at Best Bet. I'll save you a seat, and I'll see you down here at Best Bet St. Augustine.
Oh, man, it is that time. I love being outside, but it is just so hot. Oh, my gosh, I cannot be outside. Well, you know, it doesn't have to be. As a matter of fact, I've got the perfect solution for you to be able to stay outdoors and not look like this guy.
GW Outdoor Solutions has the solution that will help you create areas of shade with their automated retractable awning. As the summer months inch closer, the high temperatures will be right there too. With GW Outdoor Solutions, go from scorching to cooling in no time with one simple push of a button. These innovative shade solutions not only provide protection from the sun and rain, but also add style and functionality to your home. Let GW Outdoor Solutions transform your backyard into paradise. Check out gwoutdoorliving.com for your free estimate.
I like to say everybody has a story, and sometimes we're a part of other people's stories. That's the case here at Nimnicht Buick GMC. My family and the Nimnicht family. We've purchased 6 different vehicles from Nimnicht Buick GMC. Maybe you're in the market for a truck. Well, let me tell you about the GMC Sierra. I absolutely love mine. I've had a couple of these. This one's a 2020, but right now on 2024 GMC Sierras here at Nimnicht Buick GMC, there's special financing. A year ago, we purchased a GMC Terrain for the kids. Financing rates as low as 0.9% for eligible buyers on Terrains and no payments for 90 days. Looking for used instead of new? Buy a used car with the Car Bravo program. Nimnicht Buick GMC certifies all makes and models. Let the #1 Buick GMC dealer in Jacksonville take care of you and your family. Come on out and see the showroom, meet the fantastic people, or shop online at nimnichtbuickgmc.com. Nimnicht, your friends in the car business since 1941. GMC, we are professional grade.
Thank you for making Action News Jax the best in Jax and Folio's Best of Jax 2023. Best TV station, Best TV newscast, Best TV morning show. Chandler Morgan voted Best TV anchor. The Chief, Mike Burrish, voted Best meteorologist. And Brent Martineau voted Best TV sports anchor. And while you're on the go, Best news website and Best local blog, The Burrish Blog. Thank you for making Action News Jax local coverage you can count on.
It's a new logo, new branding, but with Bold City Heating and Air, it's an old school approach. One of the few locally owned and operated air conditioning businesses left in Jacksonville. And with that comes the perks we miss in the big business world. It's every customer counts kind of service, from when these trucks have pulled up to my home over the last couple of years and when they pull into your driveway as well. From communication to pricing to the actual service, everyone at Bold City Heating and Air cares about you. You know who is coming to your house. You know they will be well trained. And they will respect your home. Air conditioning convenience at boldcityac.com. The folks at Bold City Heating and Air also know your AC unit is important and can be a big expense. That's why they have financing to help. No payments, no interest for 12 months on new systems. $50 off any repairs. Stay safe, stay comfortable with Bold City Heating and Air at boldcityac.com. Homegrown in your hometown. Bold City Heating and Air.
When you think sports, you think Action Sports Jax, the official station of the Jaguars, on location for every game. But the most experienced team in town doesn't stop there. From high school football to the big events in the area, Action Sports Jax is always on. Now, we take that to a new level. Action Sports Jax 24/7 is around-the-clock coverage of the teams you love and the moments you can't miss. The best local sports in Jacksonville on Action Sports Jax 24/7.
Welcome back to the Brent and Austin Show, streaming on the Action Sports Jax 24/7 network.
By the way, I thought I lost like all my competitive juice yesterday.
Why's that?
Well, you were talking about flag football the other day, right?
Yes.
So as this gets a little deeper, like these high school, the high school thing has been like the most fun thing ever, right? To watch kids play. Been fortunate to have 2 of them involved in it. Mm-hmm. And their programs are pretty good and at least compete. And now haven't won state championships or anything like that. But so we're into the playoff time. Well, last Thursday was terrific for us. I mean, they both won district championships. Nice. Really cool. Like, it was good. It was a great night.
For sure.
Right? It was like one of those, like I've told Steph for the last however many weeks, I'm like, listen, we've been so lucky, and we can get greedy as hell, but we've had a lot of good nights. Like, there's been a lot of fun nights for as much as we love this stuff, and they like it and all that. And, of course, I have come to the conclusion that I always ask, like, why is this stuff so important? It's like, well, it's kind of important to the kids. So if it's important to the kids, it's probably important to you, right? Mm-hmm. Now, we might accelerate that a little bit higher because we like the sport so much. But so I actually texted somebody yesterday, like before the game. Boys played in a regional quarterfinal game. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I'm so disappointed in myself. Like, I feel like I have no, like, the usual feelings of a game day. Like, I don't know if they're going to win. Like, I don't know how things are going to go. Like,
the nerves,
a little bit of that anxiousness, like, hey, this is going to be fun. Or even the point, like, oh, this could be it. It could be like Ty's last game, or Kaylee on Thursday would be last game. I texted our buddy, and I was just like, I'm so disappointed in myself. I got, like, no competitive juice right now. Like, I got none. I was like, it's like I was satisfied by last week.
Yeah.
Like, that was cool.
Okay.
Right? Like, that was good, and it's like, whatever happens here is good, which is probably a good way to be.
Yeah.
But that's not the way I usually am. Then about a half hour before first pitch, it started to come around.
Okay, good, man. I was getting worried. I mean, whatever. I'm going down this road anyways. I mean, you're talking and you're endorsing it, and I pictured you being Frank Thomas in like one of those, biogenics commercials where it's like low testosterone, like I just wasn't feeling it. I kind of lost the moment. Hey, I'm Frank Thomas here. Like I don't know if Brent's actually telling the truth. If we got like an endorsement I don't know about where he's going to start endorsing some testosterone pills now and I got to like play along with it. Well, I don't know what we're doing.
Hey, you hear that, sales department? Bring it on.
Bro. You do not want that.
What's up, everybody? You guys going to high school baseball games, not really feeling it? I got the endorsement for you.
Hey,
Eugenics.
It feels different.
Oh, my God. Brent's been on one lately, man.
Hey.
With the bees and everything. What's up, man?
What do you mean? It feels different. That's our slogan for the Jags.
Yeah, I'm aware, man. I know. But I know where you're going with that, and you didn't. Whatever. Yeah. Unbelievable. Unbelievable, man.
But anyway, I just want to let you know it came back.
Yeah. And hey, Nugenics, if you're listening. Brent Martineau's interested. I think that's the Frank Thomas one, right?
Is that what it is?
Where it's like, Frank Thomas, and then the wife's like, big hurt, more like the big hunk. And like her husband's just like, yeah. Like, dude, if I had a girl, like.
I know the commercial.
Yeah. But like, if my wife or my girl, whoever, my significant other, went up to Frank Thomas and goes, big hurt, more like the big hunk, your ass is getting dumped right there. Sorry. If I'm married, divorced right there. On the spot. We're not playing along. I'm not going to.
Hamby, this is good work by you.
Oh, he's so quick with it, Hamby. Look at him holding the bottle and everything.
Big hunk.
Brent, would you ever like endorse one of those things or not? Like, how much money would it cost you?
You could. Oh,
yeah, I don't.
You could buy Brent off.
Oh, I know. Like, what we're talking about, like $100, $200 per week?
I've thought this is actually a popular product, like these kind of products in sports.
Don't justify it.
No, they are. Like,
okay.
To the sports audience, right? To male audience.
Yeah. No, for sure. Yeah.
So
you see these commercials all the time.
That time is going to happen at some point where I'll be like,
yeah.
I mean, but I've thought about it before. I'm like, when is the time to do that?
The time to endorse or the time to start taking these things?
Well, maybe both.
Okay, gotcha.
Definitely endorse.
Yeah. Man, I mean, I feel like you're in your prime to endorse that. To endorse these.
Okay.
Not in your prime overall.
Dude, you're gonna go to see the doctor to get the prescription. He's gonna so what's bringing this on? Well, kid had a regional semifinal game. I just really wasn't up for it. So.
Dude, you need a prescription? I thought you just get these at your local GNC. Or any vitamin place.
You know what I was thinking of, though, on the Frank Thomas stuff?
What you got?
It's how many commercials do you know, right? And you know the commercial, but you get lost and don't know the product.
Oh, most of them.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy? Like, so it's I wonder from a marketing. I've never taken marketing classes and stuff, but I wonder what the happy medium there is because it's memorable, so you remember it, but you remember the thing so much that you don't remember the product.
Oh man,
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like, that happens.
yeah.
I think, but like it didn't happen with like when we were talking about cereal the other day.
Yeah,
because
yeah.
like Mikey likes it.
Yeah,
and it was
sure.
life. Like
For sure.
you knew it was life. Right?
Yeah.
So that was a very good one where
Yeah.
you can get both. You know the product and you know the spot. Like you remember it.
Yeah.
But I think this happens a lot. Like I would never have been able to guess. Like I know the Frank Thomas spot,
Of course.
but I would never have guessed the product.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Until you said that was pretty good that you knew it.
Yeah.
Which-
Oh, I mean,
Tell
dude,
us
it's
something.
been tattooed. Well, it's been tattooed, man. Yeah, man. I'm popping Nugenics as like Tic Tacs and going to the YMCA and picking up all the older ladies there. A-Train, more like, you know.
Hey, by the way,
Big hunk.
the A train. There's something that works here. Not like the A train. It's the big engine.
That's the big engine, man. The steam train. Yeah.
Can we just take a second to look at this guy's dome piece?
Don't stop being dude. That's a dude. We're having fun, but now we don't gotta make fun of people's appearances. It's Frank Thomas. The guy's a legend. I grew up with that guy.
That thing, that is
Listen.
mega. That is mega. Mind.
Okay, but like my childhood is already like traumatized because he's doing these commercials. It's like Brett Favre and the Wranglers. Like, dude, like I grew up like in the backyard and I was throwing footballs like you, and now you're playing with a bunch of like middle-aged, older, you know, dudes in the middle of the field wearing your Wranglers. Like, you're kind of ruining my
You
childhood.
lost me.
Yeah, but now he also got in trouble, so that kind of ruined my childhood as well for the volleyball incidents with Southern Mississippi. But that's another story. But with Frank Thomas, it's like, dude, you're the hit dog or whatever. Like, you're the big hurt. Like, you. I played backyard baseball with you back in the day, and now you're slinging testosterone pills? Come on. But I hope he's making a lot of money. And Doug Flutie, too, as well. Doug Flutie makes sense.
Doug Flutie makes
Doesn't it? Just because, like, it always seemed like his career was like, man, like he defied all the odds and everything.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, man, this guy is unreal. Frank Thomas, like, you were the man for a while. Then I
can't believe you liked Frank Thomas this much.
I did, actually. Yeah, I mean, I had
He's such like a
I had a Frank
quiet
Thomas
superstar.
I had a Frank Thomas poster in my room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he was awesome.
Yeah.
Gentle Giant, too.
Yeah.
Everything I've heard is
No, you got to,
great
like,
dude.
dude, my childhood, it was Ken Griffey, Frank Thomas. Like, those are the two.
But it takes, like, he's got to either be getting paid handsomely,
I hope so.
really believes in it, or just doesn't mind. Him
Look
is
at
working
this.
hard today.
He is working hard. This happens nowhere in life.
Hey, listen,
It does. That happens every Thanksgiving across America.
Listen. You show this, okay?
Yeah.
You show this to 100 women.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't look like no football game.
No. Well, no. It looks like something. Yeah.
Also, Brett Favre looks like he's like 145-pound skinhead.
Jeez, Hamby.
Whoops. I mean, he looks. But what are we doing here? Like, what kind of game is this?
This looks like a promo for The Bachelor.
This looks like what happened this past weekend at the country music concert when what's the guy's name?
Luke Combs.
Luke Combs came out for an encore. Oh, he's coming back for a couple more. Woo!
By the way, the encore stuff was so disappointing.
Was it really?
Yeah, like I think people have anticipate the encore so much or know what's happening because they have set lists, so they don't go crazy.
Oh yeah.
Like half of the people leave on an encore, right? So they get to beat the parking lot
The
stuff.
traffic.
But then, like this one was like it got loud for a second and then it didn't, and then like the lights came on and then it got loud for like 3 seconds and then it didn't. But like I've been at concerts before, like old school, before you knew set lists and everything, or at least everybody did. Maybe some people did, and that place is rocking.
Yeah.
Like
yeah, yeah.
waiting for the encore.
Yeah.
I was a little disappointed in like the encore pull. Like he's coming out.
Of course.
Does anybody not come out anymore?
There are some like I forget who I went to
Really?
somewhat recently, and they didn't come back out. I was like, damn, that sucked.
I mean,
such a letdown.
there's gotta be nothing worse than like you try to do an encore, nobody cheers for you to come back out.
Well,
Is that what happens? They're just
Well,
like
it wasn't
forget
like
it.
nobody.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
you know what I'm talking about, right? I mean, you get like maybe it's more arena because of the stadium where you're like getting pounded on the seats
Of course.
and stuff like
Yeah,
that. Like
yeah,
it's
yeah.
a fun like that's a cool part of it.
Yeah.
I would think for an artist, that's got to be that's got to be a great rush. Right?
Oh, that's everything.
But I did not feel that rush in the stadium the other night on Saturday. I don't know if people did on Friday, but I think this is because, one, we're used to it. So we anticipate it's going to happen.
Yeah.
So it's not like, hey, when I used to go to a concert, or at least some concerts that I've been to, I'm like, I don't know if they're going to do an encore. There's like this element of surprise.
Oh no, it's a
right?
given now.
And now it's such a given to do it and create the moment. But I thought we kind of disappointed as a fan base here, not in just at that moment
yeah.
of recreating the moment.
Come on, Jacksonville. Show Luke Combs some love.
Yeah.
Was it a good party atmosphere? And like, was it like people were rowdy?
No, it was good. Yeah, the whole thing was good. I just was a little. I thought I was a little disappointed in that part of it.
Yeah. I guess I haven't been to like a big country concert like that in a long time. Like I don't, because like, okay, I'm going to Rockville. I know what Rockville's going to be like. All right, people are going to be drinking and mosh pits and just it's going to be chaos.
Yeah, chaos.
Like I feel like a Zach Brown band or like a country, isn't it more kind of like just laid back and twangy? Or like the people like no one's throwing like bows in a mosh pit at a Luke Combs concert.
There's not. But I think it's such a mix. A country has such a mixed bag of fans.
Okay.
You get 46-year-old Brent.
Yeah.
You get 12-year-old Teeny Bopper.
Yeah, that's right. There's a lot of those
you
in
get
the country.
Old ladies, young ladies. Ladies that still want to pretend like they're young.
Everything in between. I got you. Yeah. I got you.
You do. You get a little bit of everything.
Okay.
And you get the belligerent drunks and you get the laid back dudes.
Yeah.
Like, I just think it's such a wide array in country. And I think it depends a little bit on, like, Garth Brooks' concert to me is totally different than a Luke Combs concert.
Oh, Garth Brooks, you're partying, man.
Well, because Garth's entertaining.
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Luke Combs, he's such a good singer. He sounds the exact same in concert as he does on the radio or probably in a studio or whatever else. Like, I really appreciate that. Talk about talent. Like, he sounded exactly the same. Sounded great. There are some people in concert don't sound exactly alike. Sometimes it's actually disappointing.
Without
right?
a doubt. Yeah.
But I think he and like Chris Stapleton, I don't think they don't narrate the show a lot, a little bit here or there, because they just kind of let their pipes do the talking.
About the music. Yeah.
Right? Which is okay. I can appreciate that.
Yeah.
But I do like the entertainment.
Yeah.
I like the stage presence.
Like, if you're going to go to the show, you want something maybe a little different. Right?
I remember doing this with Stapleton. And again, this is not like
I'm seeing him Friday.
Well, Stapleton, Saturday. Don't go Friday.
I'm going there Friday in Tampa.
Oh, you're going. He's going to be here Saturday.
I know. The group I'm going with, yeah, it's.
Is the group
Friday.
you're going with from Tampa?
No, they're from Orlando.
Oh.
Yikes, Samby. Yeah.
Okay, I'm trying to wrap my arms around this, but
yeah.
But either way,
so many things I want to break. Okay, go ahead, Brett.
So the Stapleton one, I saw him in the arena years ago, and he's basically just sitting on a stool playing, which was kind of cool.
Sure,
but I almost was like, okay, that would have been really cool at Daly's place.
Yeah, it's more of an intimate, kind
a little
setup.
more intimate setting. But when you get to the bigger arena, you almost want like the running around the stage stuff.
Yeah.
But I do get they are who they are. They're not going to. And by the way, the concert was fantastic, but it's just a different kind of concert. Like, you'll see that. My guess is Saturday will be like that. George Strait ain't running around the stage.
Oh, no.
So anyway, to each their own. All right. Man, are we going to talk sports or what? So you didn't like the way by the way, we have some stadium news. I don't want to do that right now because we're going to take a break in a few minutes. We'll get to that at 11 o'clock. That's out within the last hour. But it's really what I've been telling you for the last 2 months. Yeah. That May 14th is the day to look. So maybe you want to listen to me a little bit more because they've just confirmed that. Golly,
everybody's going nuts with it.
On the stadium?
On Twitter.
That's
Holy
good.
cow.
That's what we like. We'll talk about it in a bit. You didn't like the way I phrased the
Absolutely
Trevor
not.
question.
No.
How did I phrase it?
Because the touchdown interception ratio is way off.
No, I said this last year. I actually lowered the touchdown on the other end.
Here's the thing. Hamby, would you take 9 interceptions and 27 touchdowns or 17 interceptions and 51 touchdowns?
51?
51 touchdowns.
Okay, run that. I just want to, real quick.
9 interceptions, 27 touchdowns, 17 interceptions, 51 touchdowns.
51 tuds. It's not even close.
That's not what we discussed
That's
yesterday.
the ratio. It's a 3-to-1 ratio. You said 9 interceptions, 26 touchdowns. Okay, so that's almost a 3-to-1 ratio, correct? Then you said 17 interceptions, 38 touchdowns. That's almost a 2 ratio.
Said, and there is tape on this from yesterday. Just go back and watch anytime on the Action Sports Jax 24/7 network or on the podcast or on YouTube, and we can go find it. And I said 38 touchdowns, 17 picks, or I said 28 touchdowns, 9 picks. And you voted for 38 touchdowns, 17 picks.
You said, okay. You didn't say 28, you said 26.
Well, I lowered it on here purposely to make it a little bit more even.
Well, once again, wasn't doing math in my head. Wasn't doing math in my head at the time, but looking back on it now, it's kind of swayed in terms of, well, keep the ratios the same. Because my whole argument was I would rather have a lot more touchdowns and a lot more interceptions. Like, if you're going to say, hey, Austin, do you want Trevor Lawrence to have a lot more turnovers? Well, no, I don't. Do you want the Jaguars to have a lot more turnovers in a season? Well, no, I don't. But if we're keeping the ratios the same, then yeah, I'll take more touchdowns with more interceptions.
Okay, then I'll give you this ratio.
Okay.
26 and 12.
Okay.
So let's make 38, because 51's unrealistic. So 38 and 17 or 26 and 12.
Is that the same ratio?
Yes, basically is.
Basically, or it is? I mean, let's get, okay, say it one more time.
38
Yep.
and 17.
Yep.
Or 26 and 12.
Oh, yeah, 38 and 17. Let's go. Not even thinking twice about it.
Hamby?
This is yesterday at 12 o'clock.
You don't have to prove me right. I know I'm right. I know I'm right. I said it.
Yeah, and I just said I wasn't paying attention to the ratios because I wasn't doing math when I'm trying to get in debate.
So anyway,
okay, go ahead.
Hamby,
give it to me.
now back to today.
Yeah. 38 and 17.
38.
26 and 12.
Yes.
Okay, 38 and 17.
Really?
Yes, 5 more picks, 10 more tuds, 11 more tuds. Guy's throwing 38. Hey, it's almost just like a blanket statement. If the guy throws 38 touchdowns, you're going to be in great shape.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, you guys, by the way, see, I thought when you said this, and you said this kind of matter of fact when we did it live yesterday, and so I was like, oh, okay, that's where everybody's going to go. That's going to be the popular answer. Everybody wants 38 touchdowns. That's what we're going to see. Yep. Well, I got responses that were like, no, less turnovers. And so they were actually more happy with the 26.
Because I'm sure a lot of that's because of the fumbles, but
the
history of fumbles. But
what I failed to realize that the ratio was so off. I thought when you gave me the numbers, it was once again, that's not my best subject.
There. I get your reasoning.
Yeah, I thought it was the same ratio. So I'm like, oh yeah, then give me just more touchdowns and a couple more interceptions. But okay, so for the new question, if the ratio is the same, you're still taking the lower interceptions?
Yeah, I kind of didn't answer my own question.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, what I was trying to say is I'm okay with 26 and 12 because I feel like their numbers came from somewhere else. They ran the ball. I'm not as enamored with the 35, 38 touchdowns. I do think for a perception standpoint, Trevor could really use a 35-plus touchdown season.
Yeah.
Or even in the 30s, right? Just get into the 30s. That's really where we were going with this, Hamby, yesterday. It was like, okay, because the bottom line is, Herbert was our discussion point, and Herbert comes off like this fantasy stud, and he throws all around the yard and everything else. But my argument against Herbert, and even Josh Allen, is one of the reasons they have not done so well deeper into the postseason or won bigger is because there's too much on their plate. Those guys are fantastic players, but there's too much on their plate. We did not ask Lamar Jackson, the MVP of this season, to go put up 40 touchdowns and 10 picks. He did not do that. His numbers were not super gaudy like that, I don't believe. I think he was 12th in the league in a lot of statistical categories.
But he also ran.
He runs a lot.
Well, but that's his game, though.
Yeah.
You're not going to ask Lamar Jackson to throw up 40 touchdowns passing. Some of that will come from running as well.
Yeah.
So, for instance, all right, so Lamar Jackson, MVP year last year. He had 24 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. And then running the football, if they could do a little better of just diagnosing that, but because they don't do a good job of it.
I think he had 900 yards rushing, but how many touchdowns?
So rushing, he had 821 yards rushing, 5 touchdowns.
Yeah. So overall, he had 29 touchdowns. Which, by the way, Trevor's going to end up with 5 touchdowns too on quarterback sneaks, probably, right?
Yeah, you'd hope so to get it done.
So yeah, I don't know. I do think perception-wise, Trevor and quarterbacks in general, like Herbert. Herbert to me is this great example because he hasn't won a postseason game. They haven't gone as good as they are expected to be. And I get Staley and other reasons are at hand here, but we blame quarterbacks all the time. We're already tired of blaming Urban for year one. It's not enough. Trevor, right? I mean, he's got the best excuse of everybody probably with Urban Meyer's situation in his rookie year. But we don't, the nation doesn't acknowledge that anymore. They did for a minute, but they don't anymore. So he needs to have this 30-plus touchdown, and then we can blame everybody else. If Trevor goes 34 and 12 this year and the Jags don't win or win big, they're going to all say, hey, it wasn't Trevor's fault. It was everybody else's fault. Mm-hmm. But at 27 touchdowns and 12 picks or 9 picks, you're like, what the hell, Trevor? You know, like I think it's that different. Like that's not a big difference in statistical category, but I do think the perception becomes totally different there. I think that's where we're at with a guy like Herbert. And I'm not telling you that these teams purposely get those guys those numbers, but I do think for perception and narrative and other things, these guys are better off just putting up huge numbers and sometimes not winning. Like that makes them individually as a quarterback validate their worth more than, okay, maybe winning games and not having as gaudy numbers or being a well-balanced offense. Or, hey, I think it's an okay thing to say, hey, quarterback, we're not going to put everything on you. Like, you don't have to do everything. It's a team game. You're one of 22 out here or one of 11 on offense.
If that's the case, then should Trevor Lawrence not be the highest paid quarterback? Because if you look at that, then you can say, okay, well, you paid Justin Herbert this much money. What has it got you? You say the same thing about Trevor Lawrence then.
Yeah, I think, the market's the market, but I think it's a fair argument to say. Like, I don't think I would sit here and say, hey, Patrick Mahomes was not at his best last year. That was not his best year. But it was his best postseason, maybe? Like, but front to back, Patrick Mahomes was not.
He had a lot of help from the defense, but once again, I make excuses for Patrick Mahomes, but like, who do you really have to throw to?
I get it.
And he still found a way. I mean, you want to look at Patrick Mahomes' numbers, over 4,000 yards passing, 27 touchdowns, and 14 interceptions.
I'm trying to think. Brady, I'm trying to go back to Brady here, guys. Like, Brady won, I can't remember when they won the Super Bowls, but I always go back to this. Like, before, do you know he didn't throw 30 touchdowns in a season until his 7th year playing in the National Football League?
Brady?
He went 18 and 12 the year they won the Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. He went 28 and 14. He went 23 and 12. He went 28 and 14. He went 26 and 14. He went 24 and 12. And then he went 50 and 8. 50 and
28 and 13, 36 and 4.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So like,
yeah, but towards the end though, Brent, then he started like, look at though.
But then it's a game change. And by the way, I would even acknowledge that the game was a little bit different back then, right? Like people weren't throwing to the degree they were throwing.
True.
But my point is, like, he wasn't also the greatest of all time at that point. Like, we weren't statistically looking at him that way. But by that time, he had emerged. I mean, he was a Pro Bowler. He was a third in the MVP race. He was third in the MVP race. He was multiple Pro Bowler now. And then finally in 2007, like, he hit a stride. Like, I don't think people talk about that stuff enough. Russell Wilson, I say the same stuff about. He was in a good situation where he could be balanced, he could grow, but because of what Herbert and Burrow and Mahomes and others have done, we're saying, hey, by year 3 or 4, if you haven't thrown 45 touchdowns, then you're not good enough.
Yeah. I think, let me ask you this, though. Did Herbert get paid before Burrow was at the same time?
Burrow first.
Burrow first, then Herbert.
Are you sure about that? Yeah, I think you are right about that.
Okay, well,
it was right about the same time.
Yeah, it was right at the same time. So, like, when Joe Burrow became, well, and technically not the highest paid because Patrick Mahomes has that title, but, like, per year. When Joe Burrow made the most money per year, everyone was like, yeah, but of course.
Yeah.
He's shown you.
Yeah.
I didn't see a lot of backlash when Herbert became the second highest paid quarterback. No one was saying, oh, he hasn't, like, really? You're going to pay him that much money? I do think if you pay Trevor Lawrence and he's the highest paid quarterback, some people are going to say, really? And if that's the case, then that should tell you something.
Well, here, I have a different view on this.
I know you do.
I actually think the nation is going to have less beef with Trevor being the highest paid quarterback than some will locally. I actually think the noise will be more locally than in the nation. I think the view on Trevor outside of Jacksonville is that he's a superstar.
Nationally?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and I might be wrong. I'm just saying that's what I think. Now, listen, everybody's going to have their detractors. I mean, some people don't think Lamar Jackson should be paid, right? Or Jalen Hurts should be paid. Or I'm sure there was more on Herbert we just didn't pay attention to. And now there's probably some on even Joe Burrow because he's been hurt half the time he's been in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Herbert was actually 1 month before Burrow.
So Herbert at the time was the highest, well, because Mahomes came before Herbert, right?
Yes.
Okay. But per year basis, Herbert was the highest paid quarterback in the NFL. Mm-hmm. And I don't remember hearing anybody saying, like, what? Yeah. Why would you do that?
See, this is one reason, too, Austin, where I think this is I would think it was a smart move, not just for the Jags, but I think for even Trevor's camp, to not make him the highest paid guy. That's why I think he'll sit. Do we have that? Do you have a graphic in there, Hamby? I know you haven't been in a couple of days, but we have like a wall that says it all with all the quarterbacks' dollars, if you can find it.
Picture or video?
It's probably video.
Okay.
I think we have it there, but it should be like from Mahomes all the way to Daniel Jones, like what these guys are making. And I think when we were doing this the other day, Austin, $52 million to remember we were saying maybe he lands in that $52 million spot.
Yep.
And if he does, or 53, that avoids that kind of conversation. Well, he's not the highest paid guy. Burrow stayed ahead of him. Sure. Burrow got to a Super Bowl. Burrow has some of these amazing seasons with 38 touchdowns and 10 picks or whatever it is.
Yeah.
So here it is. So I think the Jags and the camp and the relationship here would be smart to say, let's just stick around like $53 million per year. Like even if it means more bonus money, because the guaranteed money, nobody really pays attention to that.
No one cares. Yeah.
Like they do, and they rightfully do, and they should. That's actually the bigger number to them. But to the fan, the bigger number is this graphic. It's like, okay, wait a minute. Trevor's making more than Patrick Mahomes and Joe Burrow and Lamar Jackson, 2-time MVP? Get out of here, right? Mm-hmm. Well, what I would say is, why the hell is Josh Allen only making $43 million a year on that chart? Kyler Murray's making more than Josh Allen, right? That's what you're going to get. So I think Trevor, if they could put his deal somewhere a little bit below Burrow's, I think would make sense to be more in line with Herbert and a Lamar at 52, 52 and a half, 53, because then you could avoid that kind of conversation like, he's the highest paid guy. It's like, okay, well, what has he done?
Yeah. But also then I think it speaks volumes, though. So if Trevor Lawrence is going to make Justin Herbert money or close to Justin Herbert money, and Justin Herbert got his contract, 2 years ago now? Or 1 year? Yeah, 2 years ago.
I think it was just this past.
Was
it the past offseason, or is that just Lamar?
Herbert? You're talking about Herbert?
2 years
Both,
ago.
Herbert and Burrow.
Herbert was July 2023. Burrow was the first week of September.
So when was...
Yeah.
Oh, so they were all three last year then. So Lamar was too.
Yeah.
Okay, so we were wondering about that. We were off a little bit.
Okay.
So that was all last summer.
Yeah. So if you have another year and you're making Justin Herbert money, I mean, okay, but what is that saying then? Like, if I'm Trevor's camp, why wouldn't you want more than Justin Herbert? If you want to throw in the things of, hey, you've had a better playoff experience than Justin Herbert.
Yeah, I don't know where those I don't know if the conversations, and I'm sure it does to some degree, right? I'm sure it falls somewhere on our Brent and Austin show conversations.
Sure.
Right? Numbers, comparable, whatever. But
and you know how I feel about what does the money say?
Yeah. I don't know if all of it, I don't know if they're as locked into everybody's numbers. Hey, like you were sitting at the table with Trent Baalke, right? And Team Jags, and this is Team Trevor. It's like, hey, first of all, you guys screwed me with Urban. Look what we've done. Like back-to-back winning seasons, playoffs. Like if you would have given me a better offensive line, I wouldn't have been hurt 3 times. Like those kind of things are going on, right? Like if you really, but are you even making a case? Both sides want to get it done. We love you. I love you. Like we're not fighting over this. Like this isn't an argument. And then you say, well, listen, I think I want to be paid higher than Herbert. Like we've beaten him a couple of times. Like I think that's a good spot. Haven't been to a Super Bowl like Burrow, so we should be landing in the $53, $54 million. But also, hey, inflation. You know, you might argue that. And I would say, if on the other side are they saying, well, yeah, but look at what Herbert's done. I mean, he's putting up 5,000 yards and 38 touchdowns. I mean, he hasn't even thrown 30 touchdowns in a season yet. He's not fumbling it 12 times a year or whatever else. I don't know if those conversations work that way. Like, I don't know. I honestly just don't know. Does it get heated like that? Is that where you go with it? Did the Evan Ingram one do that? Did the Josh Allen one do that? Like, what parameters are they working off? Or are they just saying, hey, this is a fair number? Right?
Yeah.
I mean, it might be as simple as that. Or what do you want, Trevor? Do you want to be the highest paid guy in the league? Is that important to you? Because some players it is.
I think some players it is, but once, and echoing back what I just said, it's what the money says. So if you're getting paid less or the same as Justin Herbert and you had another year to get the contract and inflation and everything, and you're getting just the same amount as Justin Herbert, well, then that tells me that, hey, Justin Herbert may be the better quarterback.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Or just has a better resume. Statistics matter, or maybe has a better agent. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Here's what I say, Austin. You know what doesn't say the better quarterback? Because I think Josh Allen's better than a lot of those guys on there, and he's making 43.
Okay.
Like, that's why it doesn't do that to me. Like, I get what you say, what the money says is important. But what you're making and what I'm making and what Hamby's making or whatever making doesn't necessarily put me in a pecking order. That's one thing at least I've learned. Just because you make more money than me doesn't make you better at it than me.
No, I understand that. But if you're in it for a new contract, like look what Josh Allen just got. You got that for a reason.
Yeah.
He's now the second highest paid edge rusher in the NFL?
Is he that
third?
high? I think he's like third or fourth. He's in top 5, I think.
Okay.
But that's what I'm saying. They were able to say, hey, sure, we want to be the highest because we want more money, but we slot right in here. We figured that out, and everybody was cool with it.
Yeah. But because of the inflation. Like, listen, if Josh Allen would have tried to get paid during a TJ Watt contract here, we know how that would have handed up. Right. Sorry, Josh, we love you, but you're probably not going to make as much money as TJ Watt. Well, you had the luxury of waiting another couple years, and now look at you. You're top 3 of the highest paid edge rushers in the NFL. Trevor Lawrence has had the luxury now, if he doesn't get paid this year, the next year, whatever the case may be, but he had another year to play, another year to prove himself, another year for that inflation to go up.
Yeah.
And if we're talking about how you're making a little less or the same amount as Justin Herbert, I mean, I think it says something.
Yeah, I think, that's a good... See, the one thing we don't have here, and I understand what you're saying. You're basically just saying, hey, it's 1 year later, right? But what we don't have, Austin, is free agency.
And by the way, Josh Allen's second highest paid edge rusher.
Is he
now.
second?
Yeah.
But see, the reason why he is because of free agency. Because pass rushers hit free agency. Brian Burns hit free agent. I think he got traded first, right? He kind of got traded and then the deal. Quarterbacks don't move like that. You know what I mean? So it's a different animal to get inflated. Now, they've been inflated handsomely, obviously, over the last 5-8 years. But I wonder if that muddies it up year to year and maybe keeps these a little bit more in line in this $50 to $55 million category than saying your inflation, because, like, Baker Mayfield doing a deal doesn't affect any of these guys getting a deal. You know?
Sure.
I think Baker Mayfield's the most recent deal done at the quarterback spot.
But I think Kyler Murray getting
Cousins.
$46 million shows inflation.
It showed the first boon, right?
Yeah.
I think that was part of the first boon of, hey, we believe in you, we got to pay you this.
Yeah.
Daniel
Deshaun
Jones
Watson
shows that.
Yeah, Daniel Jones shows that.
Right?
Exactly.
And so I'll be interested, like, we had this discussion a lot over the years. It's like, okay, is Joe Burrow going to be a $60 million guy? A lot of people like Casey and others thought that, hey, they were going to be a $60 million. He wasn't. Mm-hmm. He was a $55 million guy, which, by the way, is still a lot. But I'm just saying it hasn't gone up to 60 yet. Who's going to be the guy to push it to 60? Is it a remade deal with Patrick Mahomes? Is it Trevor's deal that helps inch it closer to 60? Not get to 60, but inch it closer to 60? I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. So, but I do think there's a little bit of a difference in the quarterback spot versus everybody else. See, the receivers got more money because of supply and demand. Kirk hit the open market. Mm-hmm. Calvin Ridley hit the open market. These guys elevated because they were on the open market and you had more bidders. The quarterbacks don't have the luxury of that, if you will, for their position. Now, again, they get paid very well, but they're not going to be driven up by an outbidding process. You're really bidding against yourself when you do a contract with a quarterback.
Sure.
Right? You don't have to worry about anybody else on this Trevor deal coming in and being like, hey, we'll give him 60. And that's what we also argued. Like, who's the quarterback that's going to, like in Trevor's case, going to say, hey, don't worry, guys, we'll play this out. And I'm going to hit free agency. The guy that actually did that was Kirk Cousins.
Well, it could be Dak Prescott, but he might hit free agency just because they're not going to pay him.
But Kirk Cousins did that, kind of.
Yeah.
Now, he had to wait till they franchise tagged him a couple of times.
Yeah.
But he did that, and I can't remember Cousins' contract was like $80 million or something, I think, initially with Minnesota. Mm-hmm. And I believe it was like that. And so I think it was all guaranteed or close to all guaranteed or a lot of it guaranteed. I think he changed some kind of game in his contract. That was because a quarterback that, had some success hit the open market. Mm-hmm. Just don't see it very often.
No.
Which I think treats these guys a little bit differently in that respect. I don't. Let me ask you this to end this part of the segment. Mm-hmm. Do you think it's important for Trevor to be the highest paid guy? Do you think he cares about that? Because, again, some players do.
Do I think Trevor cares? No, because I don't think he thinks he's like the best quarterback in the NFL.
Yeah.
So I don't think so.
Well, but even if I didn't think I was the best sportscaster in the market, I wouldn't be mind paying.
You still want, you want to get as much as possible, but I also think, like, he's a realist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I sense that, too. Like, I think ego is driven by the agent part of that, too.
Yeah.
Because it's good for the business. Like, I get it. You want to keep increasing. Because now, listen, if we're able to land a deal, there'll be thank you notes to Trevor's agent based on what Trevor's done if he's able to land a deal higher than Burrows, these guys will all send that guy wine because you just helped our clients out.
Of course.
That's how the business works.
Yeah.
It's like why I would tell the house down the street, if you sell it for $1 million, I'll send you a bottle of wine.
Yeah, but like here's the I understand, but this is my whole thing though. I don't want to have conversations about resetting the market. Like I want to have conversations about saying, yeah, you earned it, man. Like you're the best quarterback or you're up there, so you get your money. Like if you get paid top 3, top 2, I'm gonna say you probably didn't earn it. Because you're not a top 2 quarterback right now. I hope you can be.
Yeah.
Like, I want to have that conversation. It's like, yeah, man. Like, I want to have the Justin Herbert conversation. I want to say, yeah, he's the top 2 highest paid quarterback in the NFL. Rightfully so. He earned that. The numbers, what you see in the field, shows that.
That's interesting. Yeah, I wonder how much debate there is in, like, Charger land about that. Because, like, this is where I do disagree with you a little bit. I know we're kind of going around in circles, and we're just going to agree to disagree. Like, I don't think Justin Herbert's the top 2 quarterback in the league. I don't even think he's close to that.
But my point was when he got paid, was there outrage? Like, did you say when Justin Herbert got paid, like, dang, he got paid that much money?
Yeah, I'm just not outraged by any, but even Lamar, the only thing that was outrageous really in the recent was Deshaun's getting all that guaranteed. Like, that was really the most
I thought that was, we've all said that.
But I
was
wasn't
stupid.
outraged by Daniel Jones. Like, I knew that's where the market would fall.
But see, I was outraged by Daniel Jones, too. Because I think, like, once again, you want to make him I think at the time was, top 8, top 9 highest paid quarterback? Yeah. Dude, you're not even top 15.
I know.
So, like, that was my issue with that.
Yeah. It's. I think we've got to be I think more the market. It's, again, like, I don't think my house is probably worth what it's worth right now, but the market says it is. Like, I never thought it would be worth what it's worth. And I think a lot of people in Jacksonville are probably saying the same thing. But it's just what the market says. It's not because I added a nice tile.
No, once again, but like I think it's what it says on the field, what you can do, and it says what your stats say a little more than a house.
We'll take a break. When we come back, all right, a lot of stadium talk around town, and rightfully so. We're getting closer and closer. We knew it. I mean, we're on the horizon with it. Been following it, and I told you May was going to be a big month. The trucks are in for Chris Stapleton and George Strait, and sooner or later those trucks will be able to go underneath that stadium and drive all around it. That thing going to be renovated over the next few years in a big-time way. It's certainly getting closer and closer to feeling that way. That conversation when we come back.
What started out as better people, better projects just keeps getting, well, better. That's Better Exterior Solutions, ready to help you create a better outdoor experience. Check this out. Motorized pergolas are the latest in technology to transform your outdoor space. Beautiful day? Let the sun shine through. Summer rainstorm? These pergola systems close automatically to keep the weather out. From residential to commercial uses, Better Exterior Solutions has products customized to meet virtually any existing architectural structure. With retractable awnings, screens, and hurricane shutters too, if you want unparalleled quality and expertise, you need Better Exterior Solutions. Get a free estimate by visiting betterexteriors.com or calling 904-902-4999. Better Exterior Solutions. Experience better.
It's the place we party in football season with Jaguars All Access. Welcome to Spring Sports Brewery, everybody. Say hello to our guest tonight. That is Trevor Lawrence. You can bring your party or event to Spring Sports Brewery in Springfield any day and any time. Rehearsal dinners, corporate events, birthdays. Here at Springs, you can enjoy the inside area and the outside area. Good for any weather, good for any occasion. Watch the games, play the games, shoot some hoops. Beer? Yeah, they have that. Plenty of choices. And sure, this is a brewery, but Strings is also a restaurant, and the food is fantastic. A full menu made from scratch meals. And if you need String Sports Brewery to help with a party at your place, they cater too. Family, beer, food, sports. Spring Sports Brewery in Springfield.
I'm Action News Jax First Alert meteorologist Garrett Beaton. While the sun is up and it's going to be a beautiful day.
Sometimes you just need a day to yourself. and Garrett's First Alert forecast, make sure you're ready to go out and enjoy. Garrett and the Action News Jax This Morning team, helping you start your morning right.
Discover how good your water can be with a new Connecticut softener and drinking water system. Connecticut's twin tank non-electric softeners are the most efficient softeners available, and their drinking water systems remove up to 99% of contaminants. We know that at our home. You can find out as well. Right now, you can save $1,000 or more when you bundle the Connecticut Premier Softener with a Connecticut K5 drinking water system. The experts at CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing will test your water for free and determine your water score. Don't know your water score? Well, CGC will find out and recommend the appropriate Connecticut water treatment solutions to improve it. The higher your water score, the better your water. Call 904-552-1242 or visit cgcwater.com. That's 904-552-1242, cgcwater.com. Financing options are available with approved credit. CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing are proud partners of the Jacksonville Jaguars, and I'm a proud customer of CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing, an authorized independent Connecticut dealer. Florida license number CFC 1432579.
Community. That's who we serve.
It's the people. Yeah, it's the people.
Demanding answers because the truth matters.
When are you going to do the job?
Listening and getting help to those who need it.
I just appreciate it from the bottom of my heart.
It's about telling stories from deep inside our neighborhoods, informing you, building connections, tracking storms.
Serious storm situation, the kind of which we rarely see.
Holding people accountable.
You were getting at the truth.
That's who we are. Action News Jax.
The friendliest golf course in town, the Golf Club at Southampton. Local golfers have no shortage of options when it comes to picking a course to play here in Northeast Florida year-round. Yet time and time again, I find myself here at the Golf Club at Southampton. Easy to get to off 210 in St. Johns County. It's family-owned and operated and renowned for being one of the area's most player-friendly. That's just one of the reasons we hold the Action Sports Jax Dream 18 charity golf tournament here each fall. The Mark McCumber design layout is great for all skill levels of golfers, from the guys who bomb it a mile on the range to golfers like me who are just happy to put it in the fairway, which Southampton has very accommodating fairways. And if you need new clubs, come down to the pro shop. They'll fit you up and get you a nice new set like they did for me. For more information on membership or to book a tee time and see for yourself, head over to golfsouthampton.com or call the clubhouse at 904-287-7529. The Golf Club at Southampton. It's the official home of the Action Sports Jax Dream 18. Make it your home for golf too.
Welcome back to the Brent and Austen Show, streaming on the Action Sports Jax 24/7 network.
All right, we've been telling you for a while now that May 14th is going to be the day to keep an eye on. Well, it looks like that's been confirmed, May 14th, or maybe it's May 15th. Same day as the schedule comes out. I don't know. I think it's May 14th still. The Times Union, Florida Times Union.
Day before the schedule.
Yeah, it's the day before. It's May 14th. The Florida Times Union with an article out today that says the Jags and the mayor have reached a deal for renovations of the stadium. So City Council President Ron Salem said that today. I think he was speaking to like an elementary school, if I'm not wrong on that, or he was somewhere in town, and that's where that was heard. The mayor actually is going to be part of an announcement at 1 o'clock today, announcing something we told you about months ago, that the ASUN is moving headquarters to Jacksonville. I couldn't believe that was what the news conference was about. I was like, I feel like we said that like months ago here on the show when we were at UNF one time. But anyway, that's
Brent. You had to share.
I guess I got to throw this stuff out a little bit more.
Well, man, when you tweet 200 times a day, it gets lost in the shuffle sometimes.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. But I don't need to break the news. I'm just saying. I feel like some of this stuff, I'm like, when I see it, I was like, is this that surprising? Especially that one, like the ASUN thing, I thought was pretty interesting. But they're doing this little show and tell today to bring the ASUN here to Jacksonville as their headquarters. And part of so it'll be interesting to see if she'll say anything today. My guess is she'll be asked about it. Action News Jax will be there. And now we wait. What does the deal look like, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, I think this is fun. I think this is good stuff because we knew it was going to happen. The one thing I've said about the stadium deal to anybody that would listen is, and apparently some don't, but it was a done deal. In my opinion, this is how I always phrased it. The stadium was a done deal from minute one. And the reason why is because it has to be a done deal. Now, the framework, how it's presented, this next step is very important to get people on board with it, to educate people about it, to get it done, to get it to the finish line. Because this doesn't end it. This might not end until October when the NFL ratifies it with 75% of the vote, because it looks like that's where the owners' meetings will be the one in October that will actually put the stamp on it to make sure it gets done. But I'm not surprised that this is coming to a head right now after pretty much a year-long discussion on how we're going to get here.
No, I mean, I'm not surprised at all either. I've been very adamant about this. It's not like the city doesn't want the Jacksonville Jaguars here. It's not like the city doesn't want a new stadium. It's just the fact of how you present it. People don't like getting taken for a ride. You trying to cover up the fine print and all this stuff. If you're transparent and you say exactly what's going on, and I think they've now learned from that, then yeah, it'll get done. And lo and behold, it's getting done.
How exciting is this for a guy who's been in Jacksonville, played for the Jags? Where's your... I'm not telling you have to have excitement for it. Don't let me put words in your mouth.
Yeah.
Okay? It's fine if you're not. I mean, it's a stadium. And you're not really a materialistic person.
I am not.
So, does this do anything for you?
Yeah, I mean, obviously it does stuff for me because, who doesn't love a new stadium? But, also I'm kind of well, it's going to be a couple years. We're not going to have this by this season. We're not going to have it by next season. There's going to be a waiting period. So, I just think the whole patience thing kind of, makes you feel a certain type of way about it. But no, I'm excited because a new stadium, one would think it's going to open up downtown a little more, bring some more things downtown, and you can just build off that. Now, a new stadium is one thing, and that's great, but you still have to have the product on the field as well, and that needs to be a main focus as well.
Hamby, you've been covering this on the news side. You actually even said, hey, we had something on this yesterday, right? You were in the news. So yeah. Even before today's confirmation, I think, by Ron Salem to say it's going to be announced and presented is really the news here at the next regular meeting, which will take place on Tuesday. And that's why May 14th was kind of that date. That's that meeting that was scheduled. Made some sense. What have you seen on the news side of things revolving the stadium?
Yeah, it was always kind of that there was the agreement was going to be presented next Tuesday. What came out last night was a Sin Bin investigation that there could possibly be, and I want to be careful, I guess, but sources have told Sin Ben Becker, Action News Jax investigator, that JEA, there's a push for some JEA money to be used for the stadium, which would be only about $15 million, but that could cost some JEA workers some jobs. That was today. Yesterday was more of the confirmation that the deal will be presented next Tuesday. But yeah, it's the JEA aspect is new. The idea that the deal is going to be presented next Tuesday was not, but I guess it was kind of just was getting Twitter in a frenzy, is just seeing that the deal is done.
Yeah, that's a big part of it. And now we say, what does it look like, right? I mean, so here's the stadium.
We should be getting a good look at the details before next Tuesday because of public records.
Is that how that will happen?
Well, I can't tell you.
On Monday you'll get them? We'll get them on Monday?
I can't tell you when we could get them, but I'm telling you we shouldn't have to wait till they present it next Tuesday to get a good look at it.
Okay.
Nice, Hamby. Spitting some facts on the stadium. I like it.
So here's the Jags, by the way, to your point, have been transparent on this. Very transparent. They had community discussions last year. They're going to do more of those, by the way, over the next couple months, because I think I don't pay attention to the politics probably as much as I should and know and all that stuff, but I look at benchmarks. So this May 14th date or right now where they've agreed upon a deal and it will be presented is a huge benchmark. The city's obviously had a third-party negotiator in this. That means they've all worked together to get it done. And let's not forget, when I sat down with Mayor Donna Deegan in London and Mark Lamping in London, I mean, it was crystal clear at that point. We came back out of London last year and said, the deal's going to get done. Like, they both want to get it done. Like, there's no hang up in wanting to get it done. Like, they were saying that, and including Mayor Donna Deegan, very transparent about, yeah, we wanted this to get done. Now we just got to figure out what's the best way to do it, right? Mm-hmm. So when you have that, when you have two sides that want to get it done, a la like the Trevor deal, a la the Josh Allen deal, like, yeah, they can be tough, but they're going to get done. And so that part is now to the finish line, it looks like. What did they land on is what's important. The next stage of it is presentation to council. Council now has like 60 days or so, I think it is, to then approve it on their side. And that will be a big step. And then after that, it will go to the owners. But in the interim, while that 60 days is going on, there's going to be a lot of education from the Jags, like these little huddles that they did. They're going to do that again. They want fan and taxpayer and people to be a part of it, which I think is a very smart move. And it's going to come with some friction. They've known that. It's not an easy thing when you're talking about $1.4 billion. What they did lose is the side of it where it's like, hey, we're also going to build the east side up and all this other. They made it just about the stadium. And so the big question is how much is coming out of Chad and the Jags and how much is coming out of the city. And that's what we, I guess, will be presented with on Tuesday. The other big part. Now, I think this is the part outside of the dollars that Jags fans are interested in and that we're probably interested in a lot too, is where are they playing? How long is it going to take? Mm-hmm. Because, again, in London was the first time Mark Lamping had said, hey, we think there might be a way to only miss one season in Jacksonville. And then that kind of caught some wind as well over these last few months. And I'm guessing that's where they ended up landing, where they can start next year, which would be 2025, in some of the underbelly stuff and some of the things that go into this huge renovation, which I'm not smart enough to know. And then in 2026, you can have partial capacity. I was surprised by the number. I think the Florida Times Union reported the number months ago was like 45,000. I thought it would be way less than that. I thought it would be like half. But play those games for a season in 45,000 or 40,000, whatever it is, and then play the 27 season somewhere else. My guess is still it's going to be Orlando. That's what I'm guessing. I don't think people are going to like that part of it. You got to educate the why, right? You got to tell people why. You can't. So that's, I think, what happens. 25, start underbelly stuff. We might not see all the construction, but there's stuff going on. 26, limited capacity, but playing at home is what they most recently discussed and presented, or at least threw out there. And then 27 would be somewhere else. Again, Brent guessing, not knowing, Brent guessing that Orlando is going to be the place because it doesn't cost you any extra money to do it. Orlando would be happy to have it. They have the facilities to be able to do it. You don't have to do anything like a UNF or a baseball grounds or a Daytona, and that costs you another $100 million, right, when you're asking for $1.4 billion. So I think that probably makes the most sense, even though people aren't going to like that part. And then the last stage would be October owners' meetings. 75%. And I think people don't realize this enough, and I've said it a couple of times. That element is really important. You have to present to the NFL a deal that looks in line with other deals that have been done recently around the National Football League. Tennessee, Buffalo, those are the most recent ones that are going to be done. But you can't be like this crazy outlier. They won't approve it. Like Roger Goodell came down here on a Monday night football game, or maybe it was a Sunday night football game, met with people in Jacksonville, and I think that was part of his mission of meeting with them. Is like, hey, this is kind of what it's got to look like. Mm-hmm. When you guys are negotiating this thing, the framework has to look like this, or these guys won't say yes. And by the way, there's probably still some institutional folks in those NFL owners meetings that will say, we'd like to say no to Jacksonville. So I don't think they're going to have a hard time approving it. But it's got to be inside the parameters of and fall in a line, if you will. And so that's an element I don't think people are fully aware of. But I do think it's an important one that the negotiator, the Jags, and obviously the mayor's office had to agree upon.
So are we saying 2028 would be the
I think that's still in line. From everything I've heard, 28 is still going to be the unveil.
That's kind of like the benchmark.
The opening.
Okay.
That will be the time.
Man, that's a ways away, though. But yeah, I get it. You do what you got to do.
Well, there's a lot going. Okay, maybe I did. I don't think I mentioned this, but the biggest piece of this all, from a city standpoint, is a lease that runs out in 2029 will now be extended for some 25, 30 years.
Yeah.
I mean, the Jacksonville Jaguars. We can all flip birds at all of those national guys. I can't wait to do it. I mean, I've been doing it for years anyway.
Yeah, haven't we already been doing that?
Move to this. Hey, Jason Lockenfora, how you doing? Like,
I forgot about him.
Like, I think we collectively just take a picture of flipping the bird to the national media. Like,
Brent, come on, man.
Like, that's what that to me. The least will do that. The least will do that. That's. And hey, can you get out of a lease? Yeah, you can, but it's hard as hell. Like, it is hard to move a team. Like, what the Rams were able to do, that is not easy. People around, the more people I've talked to over the last couple of years about these kind of things and deals, it is so hard to move a team. Mm-hmm. So, like, that alone makes it such a, small percentage. And the goofballs that we're talking about, London, holy cow. I mean, now you're adding a whole different element to it.
Yeah.
Now you're adding like a CBA that you got to get approved with it. You got to add the travel, the logistics, the other thing. Like, the London stuff was so stupid to me.
Oh, of course, yeah. That's why I don't even care about the thing, because like there was never a doubt in my mind this team was leaving. Like it lived rent free in my head for a day, and I'm like, you guys are stupid. We're not going anywhere.
Duval TV said, "I'll sit front row for that picture."
Let's go, man.
And Delphonic says, "Say less, Brent, if you need a flipping the bird pick."
Yeah, I mean, it's. I don't know. I feel like, honestly, for someone who's been in town now for 16 years, and there have been people who have been around longer, and obviously since the birth of the Jacksonville Jaguars, which is now on year 30, which is also a lot of significance to that, right? That's pretty cool. They could reach this deal in year 30 of the team. But I think there's a lot of validation for the fans. I think there's a lot of validation for Schott. I think there's a lot of validation for people like Mark Lamping that have had to answer the question so many times. I think there's a lot of validation for folks that also like have to talk about it like us, and you have to listen to it. Like, I'm telling you guys, I was at the Super Bowl in Santa Clara. I'll never forget where I was, and like there was the folks that from Sky Sports and London. They're like, yeah, 2021, they're moving to London, and I'm like, no, they're not. Yeah. And the guy's like, oh yeah, like the head guy or one of the head guys in London, like that's who they talk to. Like, yeah, he fully believes that they'll be there. And I think it was Santa Clara we were in, and whatever year that would have been. And I'm like, that's not happening. Like, there's no way that's happening. And hell, it ain't happening by 2021. And so I'd love to go talk to that guy in London, not the guy from Sky Sports. I mean, the guy from London that actually like was throwing that around. Like, what's that dude doing? Like, if he's spreading that rumor. So it's like stories like that, conversations like that. I think there is some validation here in Jacksonville when this thing gets done. That's why I think this is so big. And it's also so big to, again, there's a lot to wrestle with taxpayers and everything else, okay? I actually would be a proponent, honestly. I'll say this. I don't know if I should say this or not, because a lot of people will get up, hey, Brent, you live in St. Johns County. You're not affected. Bring the tax to St. Johns County. There's a bunch of people in St. Johns County that go to the stadium. I've actually told the mayor that. I was like, I would be opposed to that. You get surrounding counties to have to chip in. They're part of the Jags fabric, right? Like, why not?
I'm
not
surprised they don't
know that.
Yeah, I'm surprised that they don't do that, honestly.
But so I'm just telling you right now, like, I would say yes to that. Like, I think that's actually a fair game thing if you were to have some sort of tax that somehow goes to. I mean, I don't look at us as Duval County, St. Johns County, Clay. Like, I look at it as Northeast Florida. I look at it as Jacksonville. But that's just me. Like, I'm sure there'd be a lot of people complaining over that. But I live there, and I know that's a fair beef to say, well, Brent, you don't have to pay the taxes.
People in St. John's County like, Brent, shut up.
I know. I'm just like,
shut your mouth.
I'm just telling you, I'd pay the tax. Like, I think that's a reasonable thing. And in fact, I almost think it's a very logical thing. How many people have moved to St. Johns County that are going to go to that stadium?
Probably afford it too. Just saying.
Right?
St. John's pretty nice.
I think that's reasonable. So, but that's without, I'm just kind of spitting that too. You know, I don't get in the weeds of that kind of stuff, admittedly. But on face value, I could see why you would do that. I think there are some examples of that in like other places where they've kind of spread it out over different municipalities and counties and things. But I don't get in the weeds on that part of it. So I just do think it's such a big deal. I've said this many times before. I watch New England. I watched Foxborough. I lived in New England. I went to Foxborough. It was the armpit of Massachusetts is the way it was described to me as a kid. And we would go there, and it's one road in and one road out. And the traffic sucked. The Patriots sucked. It was freaking miserable and cold. The stadium sucked. You sat on bleachers. There were fights. I remember fights more than football is what I always say. And I come back from college. I get in the business. I'm working in Providence. They unveil Gillette Stadium. And then they unveil Bill Belichick and Tom Brady.
Yeah.
And they unveil Patriot Place. And now people go to Foxborough. It's like a destination. I'm like, holy crap.
But winning takes care of a lot of that, too.
Winning helps.
You got to win.
You got to win. Winning helps.
You got to win.
But even the Kansas City Chiefs are having a little bit of problem doing whatever they were doing, and they've won a lot. So you got to make other things make sense, too.
Sure,
right?
but their fan base isn't hurting.
But take my Foxborough example. That's still Foxborough. That's not Boston. We're in Jacksonville, Florida. Mm-hmm. Beautiful Florida where everybody wants to be with rivers and everything at your disposal. And now you add, if this is part catalyst to what else goes down there, to what the rest of the decade looks like, that's what gets me excited. How we do it, I don't know. How long it takes, I don't know. Mm-hmm. But that's my example. And then the other example, which everybody uses around here, is Indianapolis. I mean, Trevor Lawrence is our Peyton Manning. Mm-hmm. Or Peyton Manning is our Trevor Lawrence. Yes, that's the way I should say. Peyton Manning is our Trevor Lawrence. Peyton Manning in the late 90s changed Indianapolis. Was it just him? No. But he certainly became that focal point to change their organization out of misery. Lucas Oil Stadium, downtown, all the things. And heck, people want Super Bowls in Indianapolis, of all places, because of what they've been able to build.
Yeah.
So, I think I think that is so meaningful. I think that stuff is very impactful. I've been in love kind of with that part of the story for a long time here in Jacksonville, for more than a decade. And I think this is part of it. It's part of, hey, the team's going to be here. Hey, there's a new stadium. It's an arms race, whether you like it or not. And hopefully part catalyst from of other things going up, from Four Seasons to things that I don't even know about, right? That make downtown a
Beyonce concerts, yeah, Taylor Swift concerts.
Just another great place to be in Northeast Florida.
Shipyards West Project, opening house tonight at 7 o'clock.
So
nice.
That's my spiel on the stadium. I think it's a massive thing. Like, I know we talk about football all the time. We talk about Trevor Lawrence's stats and his contract. This thing is massive. Like, this is going to be a monumental deal in the city of Jacksonville. As much as I think like a Trevor Lawrence contract extension will be. Mm-hmm. And I still come back to this. And somebody kind of said this to me, and so it opened my eyes to it more. And it makes a lot of sense. The Trevor Lawrence deal, while you're huddling around and explaining the stadium and trying to get it passed through, might not be a bad idea. Hey, Trev, part of this deal, can you come out and tell everybody how big the stadium is going to be and how it's going to look like? Hey, part of his job, like not his.
It's not his job.
No, but he's the face of the franchise.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
And we are going to say if it does work out, if he's able to do some of the things, get Super Bowls, be the guy that everybody, like the player everybody thinks he is and can be and they think he is, it's going to be the place we label kind of like the house that Trevor built. It's all going to line up to be similar to that. It has the makings of it. Now it's going to play out that way.
Got to play it out that way. Yep.
All right, let's take a break. Unless you want to jump in on that. All right, hog the mic.
I'm good, man. No, we're all good. that was eloquently put.
Well, I think people love the stadium talk, though.
Yeah.
Like, people are excited today, Hamby, you said on Twitter.
Oh, yeah.
Or some people are going to hate on it.
Yeah, I mean, there's all those people going to hate on it, too. Like, all this stuff.
Yeah, I get that.
That's just the way the world works.
And I do, listen, I get that part of it, too. I think it's good to have that. That's healthy debate.
It's healthy debate, but at the end of the day, you have to see what the Jaguars bring to the city and how vital it is to have an NFL team in your city. And if you can't see that, then you're pretty nearsighted, I think.
Yeah. All right, let's take a time out. We'll come back, talk more football, and then outside of the business of it. But coming up today, we have a 1 o'clock cup date with Stuart Weber and a week with Action Sports Jax with Olivia Tassley, and no gate fees. Oh, Hamby. We got some high school baseball, softball. We got FHSAA. We're going to talk about those rankings, how it's determined, and maybe some solutions, along with Committed to the Uncommitted and a couple of guests on the show as well, and High Five Power Poll. So that's coming up 2 o'clock, presented by Nimnik Buick GMC. We got a big Wednesday lineup. It all starts in the morning, by the way, at 6 a.m. here on the Action Sports Jax 24/7 network. Miller and Moulton every day, 6 a.m. until 10 a.m., leading up to our show. In Northeast Florida, we love hanging out on the back patio, maybe grilling out lunch or dinner with the family, enjoying the good weather, or maybe enjoying the big game on the TV. Or maybe your favorite team in town, the Action Sports Jax team. This is great, except for when it's really hot or the bugs start coming out. But what if you didn't have to worry about that? Titan Outdoor Solutions will make your outdoor area a comfortable spot, any time of the day, any time of the year. This makes too much sense. Titan Outdoor Solutions can give your home an upgrade. Customized pergolas, awnings, controlled shade, even retractable screens. The solution to beating the heat and the bugs and getting more use out of your home is Titan Outdoor Solutions. And this can even help prevent storm damage at your home. Living in Florida and living in your home is already good. Now make it great. Quality products, custom work, locally owned and operated. Visit TitanShuttersAndScreens.com or call 904-484-7580.
The boys in blue are back as the Jacksonville Armada men's under-23 team kicked off the 2024 season this past weekend on the road at Naples United FC. In his debut appearance for the Fleet, Luke Granitor scored the game's lone goal just before halftime on a scramble in front of the net. The rising junior at UNF is happy to be back on the field after an injury sidelined him in the summer of 2023.
Having the opportunity to play was just awesome. I had some nerves, obviously, because a year coming, but really thankful just to be out on the field for the Armada.
Next up for the Armada is the home opener on Saturday, May 11th at Jacksonville University's Southern Oaks Stadium. That matchup with Global Soccer Pathways kicks off at 7 p.m. Tickets are available on the web at jacksonvillearmada.com, and those who put down a season ticket reservation for next year's MLS Next Pro season get free admission to all NPSL and WPSL home games this summer. We'll see you at Southern Oaks Stadium on Saturday.
The UNF softball team clinched the 2 seed with a series win this weekend. That means they will get a double bye in the ASUN tournament. They will play later in the week with hopes of winning a championship and an NCAA berth. The beach volleyball team did that and won its first ever NCAA tournament match by sweeping Chattanooga. They would eventually lose to top seed USC, but an historic season for the Ospreys. The UNF golf team headed west for the NCAA tournament. Nick Gabrocek winning Player of the Year in the ASUN for a 4th time. And congrats to the spring sports graduates. Get everything UNF sports at UNFospreys.com.
When you think sports, you think Action Sports Jax, the official station of the Jaguars, on location for every game. But the most experienced team in town doesn't stop there. From high school football to the big events in the area, Action Sports Jax is always on. Now, we take that to a new level. Action Sports Jax 24/7 is around-the-clock coverage of the teams you love and the moments you can't miss. The best local sports in Jacksonville on Action Sports Jax 24/7.
Everyone loves a good game night. Here you don't have to be the host. You don't have to clean up. They bring the food and drinks to you, and you can watch whatever you want on the big screens. It's more than a card room. It's a night full of fun with friends. Best Bet Jacksonville, Orange Park, and now the newest location here in St. Augustine, right off 95 at exit 311. A brand new clean room, a full bar and menu, my favorite sushi in town. And I love the fries too. You don't have to just play poker at Best Bet. That's why I come over here to the table games and play one card poker. That's a pretty good card and a win. One card poker is like war as a kid, you against the dealer. And this isn't the only fun table game to play. A friendly staff, a lot of fun. It's a good night out at Best Bet Jacksonville, Orange Park, and the newest location in St. Augustine. You can be a serious player or a novice. It doesn't matter. If winning equals fun, you're a winner every time at Best Bet. I'll save you a seat, and I'll see you down here at Best Bet St. Augustine.
Do you have ugly concrete around your home or business? Are you tired of concrete that is cracked, stained, or just plain ugly? Spartan Coatings' range of products provides a surface that is non-porous, easy to clean, antibacterial, and slip-resistant, all with superior durability. Living in Florida nearly my whole life, I know the toll our weather can take on a garage floor. That's why I had Matt and the crew from Spartan Coatings transform this space. And the best part? They did it in one day. It was a professional process from step 1. The polyurea and polyaspartic system provides superior flexibility, is 4 times stronger than epoxy coatings, and will withstand temperatures high and low. Plus, it comes with a 20-year warranty. Whether it's a garage floor, patio, pool deck, driveway, or your interior flooring, Spartan Coatings has you covered. To get started transforming your ugly concrete surfaces, call 904-671-3930 or visit SpartanCoatings.com today for your free quote.
Welcome back to the Brent and Austin Show, streaming on the Action Sports Jax 24/7 network.
Well, there's a lineup each and every day. Miller and Moulton, good to have those guys on board. Talk a lot around the state of Florida, by the way, some national topics, and making their way into Jacksonville for the first time with our Action Sports Jax 24/7 network. You can find us actionnewsjax.com and also the Action News Jax app. The guys from 10 to 1 are a little bit better looking, but
tell them, Brent. 4 hours, by the way, too. Whew.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a big one.
Yeah. Do you think we can take them in a tag team?
Well,
yeah.
As
in a rap battle?
As long as you never tag me in.
No, I got you. What about a rap battle? Confident there, too? I'm just trying to establish things, Brent.
Anything else now?
Golf course? I don't know.
Golf course might be tricky. I don't know. I got confidence in you.
Guy on the right looks like he balls, man. I don't know. Is that Moulton, I assume?
That is.
Yeah, Moulton looks like he's a baller in the golf course.
We should have a battle.
Have you been scouting the producer? What's he bringing to the table?
Yeah, he's actually I think the producer's about your age, maybe a little older than you, but
trying to copy the kids' corner.
Well, they've been around a bit now.
Oh yeah,
just making their way to Jacksonville.
Hey, so have we. Whoa,
that's true.
As a collective,
you guys could definitely take y'all in court and on the investment portfolios.
I was thinking the same thing. The investment portfolio.
Oh, is one of them like a lawyer or something?
Sneaky good investor guy over there across from me.
Oh, me?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I think so.
I try to stay humble, man.
Yeah. Sneaky good.
But I'm sorry, are the other guys, they're like investors or something, or what?
No, I was just going off the looks. I have no idea.
Oh, I got
He's basically saying they can manage your money.
I mean, if we're going to have an invest off, you give us each like $1 million, we invest it in something, see who gets more money at the end.
I would love to do that.
I like my chances.
That'd actually be pretty good.
I like my chances.
It'd be kind of fun. We could do that like fake money.
That's what I told you I won that about a rookie year.
Remind me that story.
Yeah, so the rookie year, I don't know why they did this. You remember Van was like at the time. Yeah,
I do.
What would you call it? He was the player.
I always say player liaison. I don't know. It's like Marcus Pollard is that now.
Yeah, player engagement, whatever you want to call it. But like a player liaison, that's a good way to put it. And we have this to the NFL where each set of rookies, so it's 2 rookies, so it's 2 rookies on each group, whatever. And every group, so like we had, like 20 rookies, I think, that year? So 10 groups. And it was an exercise where we got to invest whatever we wanted in this game. And then it could be like low risk, high risk. And then we had to roll like this dice. It was like a big, intricate game. Nevertheless, it was me and I believe I had Deji Kareem was on my team.
Okay.
Hey.
Deji?
I was running the show, though. Don't worry about it. So basically invested some stuff here, had to roll the dice, play the risk and everything. Needless to say, out of hundreds and hundreds of dual teams around the NFL of all the rookies, we won the whole thing. Now, Van promised me a really sweet prize at the end of it. Didn't get anything. We got like a big trophy, which I could care less about, but we got like a big trophy, and it said like NFL investment, like who cares? But like I was also promised something else, and I never got that like from Van. But needless to say, yeah, we won the whole investment thing. So.
Hey, you won the experience and it got the gears going to do it for real.
Well, yeah, but then I don't think they ever did it again. I think we were like the only year they actually tried to do this,
and that was it.
And the next year they didn't do it. Yeah,
I like the idea of that though. That's pretty good.
Cool. Yeah,
pretty good. Could have an investment game.
Yeah, for sure.
Seems like that's a sponsorable item once again. Let's do it.
A lot of sponsorship opportunities out there, everybody.
Hey, Christian Yelich.
Go on.
Did you see this?
No, you tweeted, like you sent the email or whatever text message. I'm not sure what you're referring to.
So a lot of people, you take the Deshaun Watson trade, right? And I think now it's a Russell Wilson trade is another one that people really like hammer in the NFL most recently and say, okay, actually the Bryce Young trade has become one, right? What Chicago got. So like there are winners and losers in trades, and sometimes they work out for both, like the Buffalo Bills and Minnesota Vikings, right? That Stephon Diggs, I think it's worked out for both. I mean, Justin Jefferson, maybe in the long run ends up working out for Minnesota even more.
Even more, yeah.
But I think you can take the wins from it. Like the Jags traded Jalen Ramsey. They got 3 picks, 2 first-rounders. That's a win initially until you pick them. Yeah. And then you lose it, right? So these work in mysterious ways. But the Marlins, so this is the tweet that went out. And I'm hoping this is all true stuff, right? This wasn't like a gimmick.
Brent, if you just got fleeced or something.
No. We don't think so.
Okay.
But it almost appears like a joke.
Here you go.
So this is who they got. Which is kind of crazy, Handy, that Brinson was he was supposed to be a stud.
I just lost it.
Here's the thing.
Did he get
football.
busted for PEDs or something? Is that how he got out of the league? Like what?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either, but he was supposed to be a stud, man.
I mean, he came up and, he got multiple shots, and I don't think he ever eclipsed the 200 mark batting-wise. But here's the thing. All of these guys were huge prospects. And,
Yeah, I don't know much about Diaz. Harrison played here for a long time with the Shrimp and really played well.
So did Diaz. So, this was right before that trade was when I started working with the Shrimp. And so I was there 3 years. So I got a lot of time with Isan and Monte Harrison specifically. Isan was this huge prospect because he was this lefty second baseman who dropped bombs. And he did. He just never – he got 3-4 shots at the Major League team. I think it was last year and the year before. It wasn't terrible, but then got injured, never got back up. And according to this tweet, he's playing in the Atlantic League. Yamamoto was interesting. He was a pitcher, right-handed pitcher. He actually came up during the COVID year and pitched well, and then they shipped him to the Cardinals. And I don't think he really panned out there. And according to this, he is a head baseball coach now at a high school, which I can't confirm that. But the guy's not more than he's probably 27, 28 years old. But the interesting thing here is Monte Harrison, and I'm going to pull this up. Monte Harrison was the prize of this trade with Yelich. And Monte Harrison was a center fielder, drafted out of high school. One of the best athletes that I've seen, just live, and I haven't, that's not saying a ton because I haven't seen the majority of the best athletes in Major League Baseball, but just legit speed. And this guy was the strongest guy on the team, like absolutely jacked. But there was 100% a book on him, and it was show him some off speed. And then anything 95 plus he can't touch.
Huh.
And I watched him for 2 years. Just anything with velocity. If he got a hold of one, the guy hit the ball 460, 70 feet.
Yeah, he was a beast.
Yeah.
They've had a couple. Stanton was like that. Stanton was a USC recruit playing football, by the way, too. So they like the athletes in the Marlins organization.
Yeah, and I know he got a shot. Very briefly for the big league club. I'm going to see.
But here's the deal on this. This is what I think is interesting. He's 28, and he's going to go play football at Arkansas.
Oh, yeah, man. It's the John Calipari effect. Everyone wants to go to Arkansas. What are you talking about? No, that's crazy.
68 career at bat.
He's 28 years old.
He's 28.
College freshman.
Because obviously, like Hamby's saying, he was drafted out of high school, so he goes through the system and everything else. But he's 28 years old, so he's still in his prime athletic career. But now he's going to go play football.
Man,
what
scholarship? I'm sorry, scholarship. Does he get offered, or is he walking on?
Yeah, I don't know about.
Okay, no. Anyways, sorry.
NIL money, probably.
NIL money. There you go. Yeah, it'll pay for itself.
But I read this and I'm like, okay, that's kind of cool. And then I'm like, should there be a limit on how old you are to play college sports?
Because all these Australians do it at 30. The kickers.
Yeah.
I do wonder if there should – and again, there are different circumstances, right? If a guy I don't know. Maybe this circumstance fits. Like, maybe this is like, okay, that's cool because he did have another career and now he's going to do it. Like, I don't know. Like, Wenke was an old player for Florida State. I mean, there are great examples of this. And now we have an older college game anyway because of COVID, older than it's ever been. We have an older draft class than it's ever been because of COVID. But I still think that's like more of a cyclical thing. We'll get back to the normal way sooner or later. When I saw this, I was like, man, 28-year-old guy built like a grown man playing against potentially 18, 19-year-olds. I don't know how I feel like. Should there be a stipulation on that?
Plans to walk on.
So he plans to walk on? Good on him, man. Best of luck. Listen, 28's it's up there, obviously, for a college student. But at the same time, if you've kept your body in shape that long, and, like, once again, obviously he had an incentive because he played baseball, right? So you're going to stay in shape that long. But if anybody who's 28 years old is still in phenomenal shape, and feels the need, hey, I want to go try something out, then I say more power to you.
Yeah. I kind of feel like I always bring up this Edgar Barreto when I was at Ashland. We were announcing games. And Edgar Barreto, this guy, he was 55 years old. And he played football that year for him.
Well, that's...
But he was like this triathlete guy, and he came back to school to finish school and stuff. And, so it was a little bit of like this milestone, almost felt gimmicky, right?
Yeah.
But it was a fun story. So, like, I was like, okay, that's kind of fun. That's cute, all that. But then, I don't know, I looked at this one today, and I said, are we getting too old in college? Like, is there... It seems to bother people when Stetson Bennett was now 25, 26 years old.
I mean,
it bothers some.
It bothers some people. It doesn't bother me because we get to the, like, if you're trying to go pro, like, you go pro, man, you got 40-year-olds. Like, I mean, it doesn't matter. It's just age. So I get, like, in some sports, it may be more of a detriment. Like, I'm trying to think of, like maybe like wrestling or something. I don't know. But nevertheless, like I said, if you kept your body in shape that long and you feel like you can compete with an up-and-coming, senior out of high school who's going to college now, like, I say more power to you. I mean, you're all adults.
I think that's kind of how I feel. Hamby, how do you feel about it? You're a 23-year-old guy or whatever. I mean, you'd be in college. Like, how would you feel if, like, Harrison walks in at 28 years old? You're like, hey, cool, that's awesome? Or what the hell?
Oh, if I'm competing against it? Nah, dude, go get a real job.
Come on, man.
No.
A guy can buy you some beer and everything. Like,
oh, dude. I mean, I'm sure it's one of those things where if he's on your team, you're like, let's go. But, if you're lining up against that, especially if the guy's a dad, and I know we got some dads that are, 19, 20, 21. But, dad strength, the guy's 28 years
dad
old.
Strength is real
He's
thing.
Been lifting for 15
Tyson Alualu had dad strength, Brent in college.
I'm not lining up against that. No shot. You're going to have to give me more NIL money just to compete.
Wow. Hamby's against it.
Yeah, I do think I get that sentiment a little bit, but I kind of like what you say, too. I'm not into excluding people from giving it an opportunity. And in his situation, I think it's actually kind of a cool story. From my situation, from like a storytelling standpoint, I think it's kind of a neat story.
I tried to go
for 10 years, right? Yeah, there's some entertainment value in it, I guess is my point. Now, who suffers because of it? Now, he's just walking on. He's not stealing anybody's scholarship.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
like, just walking on.
And maybe he earns a scholarship then, right?
Maybe he does. Yeah, and so this example might not be the best one to argue against.
Yeah.
But there probably are some that you argue against a little bit. You're like,
I should go back and play a different sport.
I mean, you're going to have Cam Rising.
Do you have any eligibility left?
I mean,
Did you play 4 years?
I had 4 years of football, but like, can I go back and play basketball or not? Or is it once
I don't think so.
Oh, never mind. Then we're good.
You're going to have Cam Rising, the Utah quarterback, who's going to be 25 and I think maybe even 26 this year, because he's had COVID, red shirt, and 2 medicals.
Yeah, I mean, but that's a little bit of the nature of our time.
But that desensitizes it to you because it's not like, oh, I mean, he's 28. Oh, well, we got a bunch of guys who are 25, 26. What's the big difference?
Yeah, and listen, I think it's crazy. Listen, we come from the high school vantage point. We just did this. I think it's very hard for high school kids. That's why we have committed to the uncommitted. That's where it was born. The scholarship program to get these guys more. And again, the top kids, the 1%ers, the Power 5 guys, they're going to find a home somewhere anyway, right? But the other ones, it usually would. That's becomes very difficult because of the transfer portal, because of the age, because of COVID, because of the extra years. Keep in mind, junior colleges in sports gave 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
Like, these guys have a lot of eligibility still. But on the other side of it is, I think we're seeing, and I've said this the last couple of years, college baseball, maybe even college basketball, has been some of the most entertaining we've seen in years because these guys are older, in part, right? I think there's a part of it. So there's a bunch of different ways to go. There's just no blanket statement about it. And I guess at this one, I think it's kind of cool. I think it's kind of neat that he's going to try a second career. I would say, like, what the hell took you so long?
True. Yeah.
I mean, 10 years. Did it take him 10 years to figure out that he wasn't going to make it?
Well, he was in major leagues as late as 2022.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
So it's only been 2 years since he was in major leagues.
Then I get that. Yeah. I get it. I wonder how often we see this or we don't hear about it so much. Like, easily somebody could not have heard about this one. The only reason I heard about this was because of the tweet about the Yelich trade, which was unbelievable, by the way.
Yeah. Advantage Brewers, thank you very much.
The Marlins are an incredible organization in the sense that, like, a trade like that, but they also, we just talked about this the other day, they had Yelich, Stanton, and Ozuna. Mm-hmm. And before he passed, Fernandez. Right? I mean, they had unbelievable talent over the years in that organization, really in the history of the organization. It's the reason why they've popped up and won 2 World Series at times. They have got to be one of the most unique organizations we have in sports, if you look at their history. I mean, you don't find what they've done. And even last year was a surprise year. Mm-hmm. And by the way, they just got rid of their best hitter. Arias just went to San Diego.
And don't be surprised if they trade Jazz.
Yeah, they're going to be sellers, right? So, pretty wild. I just thought that was interesting. I guess in conclusion, I would not put the age limit on it.
Yeah, exactly.
But I can see why people like Hamby are like, damn, I got to keep competing against these old people?
I mean, and I get, like, everyone's prime's different, but, man, if I'm a high school senior going into college and I have to go against, I don't know, whatever, a 30-something. How old is this guy again? I'm sorry?
28.
Man, bring it then. Let's go. Well, I embrace that.
And there's a little bit of this, right? Hey, dude, that guy hasn't played football in 10 years.
Yeah, like, also an advantage.
It should be a little bit of an advantage for you.
Probably the biggest thing. Guy's been, throwing and catching baseballs.
It was kind of like when Michael Jordan went to play minor league baseball, right? It's like, okay, well, he's a basketball player. You should be better than him.
Yeah,
Stop complaining about him taking your spot. Just go out, hit him.
Exactly.
Right, a little bit of that. Hey, let's take a break. We come back, talk more football here on the Brent and Austen Show on the Action Sports Jax 24/7 network. Midday on a Wednesday. Don't forget Donato's Pizza. If you're looking for a place for lunch or dinner, Brent20 is the code. You can save 20% at Donato's Pizza, Mandarin, and Jax Beach. I like to say everybody has a story, and sometimes we are a part of other people's stories. That's the case here at Nimnicht Buick GMC. My family and the Nimnicht family. We've purchased 6 different vehicles from Nimnicht Buick GMC. Maybe you're in the market for a truck. Well, let me tell you about the GMC Sierra. I absolutely love mine. I've had a couple of these. This one's a 2020, but right now on 2024 GMC Sierras here at Nimnicht Buick GMC, there's special financing. A year ago, we purchased a GMC Terrain for the kids. Financing rates as low as 0.9% for eligible buyers on Terrains and no payments for 90 days. Looking for used instead of new? Buy a used car with the Car Bravo program. Nimnicht Buick GMC certifies all makes and models. Let the #1 Buick GMC dealer in Jacksonville take care of you and your family. Come on out and see the showroom, meet the fantastic people, or shop online at nimnichtbuickgmc.com. Nimnicht, your friends in the car business since 1941. GMC, we are professional grade.
What started out as better people, better projects just keeps getting, well, better. That's Better Exterior Solutions, ready to help you create a better outdoor experience. Check this out. Motorized pergolas are the latest in technology to transform your outdoor space. Beautiful day? Let the sun shine through. Summer rainstorm? These pergola systems close automatically to keep the weather out. From residential to commercial uses, Better Exterior Solutions has products customized to meet virtually any existing architectural structure. With retractable awnings, screens, and hurricane shutters too, if you want unparalleled quality and expertise, you need Better Exterior Solutions. Get a free estimate by visiting betterexteriors.com or calling 904-902-4999. Better Exterior Solutions. Experience better.
Discover how good your water can be with a new Connecticut softener and drinking water system. Connecticut's twin tank, non-electric softeners are the most efficient softeners available, and their drinking water systems remove up to 99% of contaminants. We know that at our home. You can find out as well. Right now, you can save $1,000 or more when you bundle the Connecticut Premier Softener with a Connecticut K5 drinking water system. The experts at CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing will test your water for free and determine your water score. Don't know your water score? Well, CGC will find out and recommend the appropriate Connecticut water treatment solutions to improve it. The higher your water score, the better your water. Call 904-552-1242 or visit cgcwater.com. That's 904-552-1242, cgcwater.com. Financing options are available with approved credit. CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing are proud partners of the Jacksonville Jaguars, and I'm a proud customer of CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing, an authorized independent Connecticut dealer. Florida license number CFC 1432579.
It's the fishing tournament everyone wants to get in, and it's time for you to register. More than 650 boats entered last summer in the Daly's Old School Kingfish Shootout presented by Yellowfin. Mark the calendar now, June 8th. This is fun for the entire family, and everyone has a chance to win big. Limited boundaries, no bait buying, no checkout. Cash prizes for the top 25 places, cash prizes for the top 10 lady anglers, and prizes for the top 15 junior anglers. The grand prize, this Yellowfin Bay boat with a 200 horsepower Yamaha and a Ameritrail trailer. The value, over $100,000. It's the Daly's Old School Kingfish Shootout. Early entry until the end of May is open and $250. If you don't catch the big one, don't worry. Just catch any size kingfish and have a chance to win $10,000 with the Nimnik Lucky Ticket. OldSchoolKingfish.com. Register early until May 31st at OldSchoolKingfish.com.
New to town or always been in town? Everyone is always looking for a good pizza place. Our place is Donato's Pizza. We love it and still do love it. When I tell my family I'm coming to Donato's, they say, wait a minute, you got to order some for us. So this is not all for me. Let me tell you what the Martineaus get when we put an order in. Well, pepperoni pizza, we usually get more than one of these. And then there's the works, a little bit of everything. And then this is the pizza that can be polarizing for some out there. I don't know why. Hawaiian pizza, some love it, some don't. At Donato's, you're going to love it, especially with that cinnamon sprinkled on top. Try the pizza my family likes or try your favorite. Right now, you can use the code BRENT20 and get 20% off your order. Every viewer and listener is important to us, and at Donato's Pizza, every piece is important. From fresh ingredients to the dedicated team members and you, the valued customer. Donato's Pizza, where every piece comes together for a winning combination. Jax Beach and Mandarin locations, Donato's Pizza. Every piece is important.
Welcome back to the Brent and Austin Show, streaming on the Action Sports Jax 24/7 network.
Hey, welcome back to the Brent and Austin Show. I just saw this from Todd Lewis. I thought this was interesting. He works for the Golf Channel. He said, in an effort to enhance fan experiences on and off site at PGA Tour events, Theo Epstein, MLB executive and partner of Fenway Sports, will work alongside the tour and players to help grow the product.
Interesting.
I've always wondered, like, this is not the capacity that I thought people would utilize Theo Epstein in. But I've always wondered, I've said this a lot over the years. I'm like, why? I forget what time frame it was, what coach the Jags were looking for. Maybe it was coming out of 2016. Maybe it was it probably, when did the Cubs win the World Series? Was that in 16 or 15 or was it later?
No, it would have been Indians, Cubs, Indians.
So
16.
So it was 16? Yeah. So maybe it was coming out of that, or maybe I waited another cycle. So when Marone was fired and they were hiring Urban, let's just say. And I always suggest, I'm like, hey, if I was Shad, who's living in Chicago, I'd be having lunch with Theo Epstein. And the reason why I said that was not necessarily because he knows how to pick football players. He was a good GM at baseball. But I actually think his experiences, and who knows, Shad might have done this, by the way. but his experience with organizations that could not win. I mean, they could not raise the trophy. Boston and Chicago. So I always thought that was very interesting. Like, that's a nice parallel of why not just have a lunch and see if you find some common ground there, even though the sports are different. You don't necessarily need to hire him to be the GM. But Epstein is, to me, one of the all-timers to be able to get both of those organizations, and it wasn't just him, but to be a part of those organizations breaking their curses and everything else and winning. So I was like, that makes sense to have him part of at least a conference meeting or something. So it's interesting to see the PGA Tour doing that. Now, Fenway Sports has backed the PGA Tour with billions of dollars.
Yeah.
As part of their group. And so now they're going to incorporate him. Now, I didn't know in fan experience. Like, that seems kind of odd to me, but the Fenway group has always been big on that. It was the Camden Yards group. It was how they've remade kind of Fenway Park around it, and places like, I think, Wrigleyville and Chicago. Well, that might be different. I don't want to mix that one in. But Fenway and Camden, I think, have some similarities. And so maybe that's where they're going with this. But Theo Epstein, to me, is one of the most interesting front office people of all time.
If Theo Epstein, like, once again, like, I'm not sure like what success would look like. But if he is successful, do we call him a wizard then? Like, does he have some kind of dark arts? Because, man, I mean, like, you turn a lot of things around, and you turn, like, you increase that. More power to you.
Yeah, I think. I think there's something to that. I think you also hit on it. Like, I don't know what success in this arena looks like. I don't know what that means and how much he'd get credit for it. But I think it's interesting that he's spilled over to another sport. I've always been an advocate of that. And I don't know if he's some genius or just lucky. You know,
there's got to be some skill with it.
Absolutely,
like, no one's that lucky.
But I do think, like, it's like anything. If you have some success, and you come from, again, organizations that have some common ground. Like, to me, the Cubs and the Red Sox have common ground. They couldn't do it. For whatever reason. Sports just sported. You really did have curses. Or you just figured something out that they hadn't figured out in 100 years. Right? I don't know. But I'm sure business works that way, too, where people kind of find something, and then it starts to work. Maybe, like you talk about a lot, maybe that's a culture thing.
True.
Right? I mean, I don't know. So, and maybe that's what the PGA Tour needs more than anything.
Yeah.
There's a little reboot on the culture side.
They definitely do, yeah.
So,
I would say so.
I just saw that tweet, found that kind of interesting to see Theo Epstein tied in with some of that. Brent Martineau, Austen Lane, Brent and Austin Show. Got a good lineup coming up today for the rest of the afternoon here on the Action Sports Jax 24/7 network. And by the way, word yesterday and announced that the Jacksonville Armada and our Action Sports Jax 24/7 network are partnering up. We'll have that match Saturday, 7 o'clock, right here on the Action Sports Jax 24/7 network. Again, you can find it on the stream at actionnewsjax.com and the Action News Jax app, and we'll have a bunch of different matches this summer that will be played and likely replayed, too, 9 of them to be exact, on the men's and women's side combined. So we're really looking forward to this. This is exciting for us, kind of a next step. This will be our first foray into live action on the network, but it's not going to be our only foray. We got a lot more things going on. I think that's the one thing that I've been trying to push a lot is this network is not just our show. Now, you can find our show on social media and other places. The network is building other shows like Miller and Moulton, like Cup Date, like A Week with Action Sports Jax, like No Gate Fees, where you can find those kind of things, and like this with the Jacksonville Armada. 7 o'clock, you can watch it on the app, and we'll work on some of the replay stuff. I got to get on that. I don't know when we're going to replay, but I believe we will be replaying probably as soon as Sunday with the Jacksonville Armada match on Saturday. That match is at JU. If you do go, and then if you can't, you can obviously watch it on the new network. Talked a little bit, Trevor Lawrence talked a little bit about the stadium. If you're just catching in, the stadium pretty much agreed to be presented, which is really not totally new news. Presentation of this deal has been earmarked May 14th for over a month now. We've told you a little bit about that, but I do think there's some smoke today with Ron Salem saying, hey, a deal has been agreed upon. Now, I saw Gene Fournette tweet like, well, the Jags say, and both sides say a deal's not done. That's semantics, man. It's done. It's done enough to go present it. They've got it. If they got to dot some I's and cross some T's, that's the way this stuff goes. But it's like saying, you know what else is almost done or whatever? The schedule release is done.
Yeah.
They're going to announce it next Wednesday. So it'll be Wednesday, and they'll dot some I's and cross some T's on the schedule as well and check it one more time. But it's ready to be presented, or they wouldn't have announced it. And so same goes for Tuesday on the stadium deal. So that's the big story today, and I think a very important story. You can always go back and listen to the Action Sports Jax podcast or find us on social media or replay the show this afternoon, 3 to 6. And about an hour and a half in, we talked a lot about the stadium, and I kind of gave my spiel on how why I think it's such a big deal here in Jacksonville this month of May and heading into the later part of this decade. Did you see that the Titans, well, first of all, update on Zay Jones. He's been visiting the Cowboys. Mm-hmm. So you said it yesterday, the move to go sign Tyler Boyd basically probably put the Titans out of the Zay Jones sweepstakes.
Yeah, I mean, unless DeAndre Hopkins, they're going to do something with him. But the way it looks right now, no, it's Zay Jones is going to go elsewhere. No sense in bringing Zay Jones in. It's almost like the Jacksonville Jaguars effect where you just had one too many guys at that position. So, yeah, Zay Jones maybe. I think Dallas would be a good spot for him. I mean, essentially you're looking at him being maybe a 2 or a 3 receiver on the Cowboys. And, heck, if it's a 3 receiver, it's a pretty damn good 3 receiver.
Yeah, it would be. That would be interesting if it gets done. Did you see where the average age of the receivers on the Titans are 30?
I did not see that, but that makes sense, yeah. Yeah.
Geezers.
Geezers. I like that, geezers, yeah.
Is that if you're a fan of the Titans, you're like, ugh. Or are you okay with it?
I mean, it's going to make you go a little bit, but once again, did Calvin Ridley... I mean, it's hard to... okay, with Hopkins, you kind of know what you're getting with Hopkins, right? He's not a top 5 wide receiver anymore, but he can be serviceable. With Calvin Ridley, it's okay, well, he came, off some rust last year. Hopefully you get the best version of him this year. Tyler Boyd, who's been nothing but dependable and always overlooked in the Cincinnati Bengals offense, that has a Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. I mean, I think if I'm a Titans fan, I'm pretty excited.
Yeah, I can see why. Listen, I'm trying to put it here. If it was in Jacksonville, it's around Trevor Lawrence, and you have Hopkins doesn't do a lot for me, I'll be honest. I feel like it's fallen off. I feel like the end in Arizona, but it's still capable. I get it, but it's not to me dynamic anymore. Obviously, Ridley, I would have been fine with Ridley here, so I'm not going to, just because he's in Tennessee, say that.
So Hopkins' numbers real quick, he had over 1,000 yards receiving and 7 touchdowns last year.
I know.
And we're saying, hey, keep Calvin Ridley.
I know it. So does this go back to a little bit of your argument? Is 1,000 yards as big a deal anymore?
I mean, yeah, you know how I feel about that, but also I think 7 touchdowns is not bad.
No, yeah, I said.
Derrick Henry, I mean, it's going to be different now, too, keep in mind.
Yeah.
Because that receiving, especially with, when they had Will Levis, wasn't thought. It was all about the Derrick Henry show.
Yeah.
Now they'll probably feature a little more.
But I think the numbers sometimes are different. That's why we saw Calvin Ridley. If Calvin Ridley had come back, right, we need Calvin Ridley to take a step either way. It wouldn't be hey, just do 1,000 yards again and 8 touchdowns. It needed to look better. We know it didn't look great. And I think a little bit of the Calvin Ridley numbers, and especially once you get to 1,000 yards, and we do like those milestones, are a little bit like DeAndre Hopkins in the sense of this. The last 6 weeks, they had to go to Ridley. They had nobody else. Zay Jones hurt, Christian Kirk hurt. Well, in Tennessee, they had nobody else. Treylon Burks ain't really getting it done, right?
Correct.
So if they were going to throw to somebody, it was probably going to be Hopkins. Remember when Levis came in that first game or something, and he threw 4 touchdowns? Maybe it was first or second game that he came in, and I think it was 4 touchdowns, whoever was that against. But they were bombs to Hopkins. It's okay, we're going to feed this guy the ball. I'm going to take snaps, and I'm feeding that guy the ball, which I'm not saying is a bad plan. I'm just saying, okay, there was a little bit of force feeding going on by both guys, Ridley and Hopkins, at times during the season to maybe get their numbers where they were. And I ask, are they dangerous? Did they scare you, right? If you're a defense, are you worried about them? And I always come back to more name than game, potentially.
For sure. But also, I see a team now with the Tennessee Titans, and I don't think any other wide receiving core in the AFC South, at least, but probably in the National Football League, maybe can say this. They now have 3 wide receivers that have all eclipsed 1,000 yards in one time in their careers.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure other teams got that, maybe. I don't know. But That's pretty impressive. Now, once again, I get like this is back in their primes. Maybe some guys are out of their primes, but Tyler Boyd had 1,000 yards. DeAndre Hopkins obviously had 1,000 yards. Calvin Ridley had 1,000 yards last year.
Yeah. No,
maybe that says something. Maybe it doesn't, but it's a stat.
Yeah, like I guess I'm not hating it, right? Like,
here's what I think, Brent. 5 years from now, we're talking about this mighty Tennessee Titans wide receiver core. Absolutely not.
No.
But
1 year from now,
are we talking? Yeah, but are we talking about where you got a new quarterback who maybe you're unsure of? Still, got to see some things, and are you setting him up for success? Well, I would say absolutely you are.
Yeah.
So I can come along with that.
I think so. I kind of did this. My comparison was a little bit when we were talking about Zay Jones last week, or maybe it was even earlier this week, was a little bit Carolina. I think that's what Carolina tried to do. I think Carolina tried to be like, okay, we've got guys, instead of guys that we don't know anything about, we've got servers. We know these people have done stuff. We know Hayden Hurst has done stuff. We know Thielen has done stuff. We know Chark has done stuff. We're kicking tires a little bit, and that didn't work. But I'm not even sure that didn't work because of them. Like, Thielen had 100 catches, by the way.
No, Thielen did his job, and Hurst was okay, but as a collective, yeah, it wasn't. But
I think a lot of that was like their offensive line, which again, it goes back to the Tennessee's conversation. Are they good enough on the offensive line? Is everything going to break down because of the offensive line? I'll just say this right now. Houston has scared people. Like, Houston has reason to say, man, this team looks good. They're young. They're upcoming. Part of the reason they scare you is because they're young and on the rise. You don't know where the ceiling is. I think the Jags have added to their roster. I think you can make the case. Now, not everybody. Some people think they're 26th in the power rankings, but I think you can make the case that they've done more. They've added more. Their offense on paper looks pretty good. Their defense on paper looks pretty good. I think Indianapolis is an interesting team. Some people like their roster more than others. I think the key there in the wild card is Anthony Richardson, right? Is he good or not? I saw somebody say something, he's going to be a top 5 quarterback. I have no idea how you would have evidence if he's going to be a top 5 quarterback, but if he is, well, they're going to be pretty damn good, right?
Without a doubt. I mean, they're good with Gardner Minshew.
True. I still don't think Tennessee has hit the point, even with adding these receivers at names that people know, that they're there.
Of course.
They don't feel it. They drafted a lineman. They think they have a quarterback. They're believing in him. They have big names at the receiver spot. Those guys have all done stuff, and they do have a young player if they choose to keep him. They have some good defensive players, too. Yet you just don't feel like in the AFC South they're even close to the other 3 teams in terms of being a factor.
Correct, because it's the most uncertain. We don't know what Will Levis is, even more than, like, I have a feeling Anthony Richardson's going to be just fine. Like, is he going to be top 5 next year? But probably not, no. But, like, I think, like, if he can stay healthy is the biggest thing with him. Because I think when he's showed that he's on the field, he can be a pretty dynamic player. And once again, I just said with Gardner Minshew, like, still trying about Gardner Minshew, but he had the Colts playing at a pretty high level. So one would think that you bring in AR now, and you're even going to exceed the Minshew expectations. With Tennessee, it's just so much uncertainty right now. How are you without Derrick Henry? You know, what's going to be the plan with Tony Pollard now? Because Tony Pollard is a lot of things at running back, but a guy that's going to tote the rock 25, 30 times a game? Absolutely not. That's not Tony Pollard's game. So what's the offense going to look like? Obviously, it's going to be more pass first. So you don't know in terms of what this offense is going to be, what the identity is going to be. You don't know what in terms of, Will Levis, how is he going to be? And you don't really know in terms of how are these aging wide receivers going to hold up the whole season.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I think what I want to caution here, Austin, is sleeping on Tennessee. I feel like it's easy to dismiss them.
Hang on. We got a pillow? I'm laid on right now. This is me sleeping on Tennessee. Go ahead. No, just keep talking. This is me sleeping on them.
We slept on Houston.
I didn't sleep on Houston. Who slept on Houston?
You thought Houston was going to be good last year?
No, I thought the Jaguars were going to win the division, but I thought Houston could be up there. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, this is me sleeping on the Titans.
Well, we'll be at Furniture Source tomorrow, and there'll be plenty of beds to pick from for you to sleep on the Titans. Okay.
What's that? Will Levis, because he threw 4 touchdowns his first game, supposed to be awake? Man, it's getting late. And what time is it, Brent? It's almost 12:30. Yeah, I'm going to bed.
Good nap time. 22-minute nap, though, right?
So what? You're 22-minute nap. Exactly. You're not going to sleep on the Titans?
I'm telling. We slept.
Don't
you
say
might
we.
not slept. We slept as a city, as a franchise, as a group here. If you're in Jags camp,
yeah,
we slept on Houston last year. Nobody expected that. And by the way, I think people to a degree slept on the Jags the year prior. Now, They were 3-7 at one point too, so there's a little bit of a magic run there.
Sure.
But I feel like Houston and the Jags are going to get all this. Really, Houston's going to get a lot of the headlines. The Jags are going to be right there. Anthony Richardson is going to keep Indianapolis in the fold, and nobody believes outside of Tennessee that the Titans are going to be any good. And I just feel like you got to be careful.
Okay. Well, so then your prediction: where are the Titans finishing?
I think
in the division.
I think they're going to surprise. And I was thinking that too. I'm glad you asked. I think they're going to surprise and finish like third place. But it's going to be a very competitive division. I think it's going to beat each other up. And right now, I would say they finish like 8-9 in third place. And I'm going to predict that Indianapolis falters.
Hamby, Kids Corner. I need to work at some crazy shifts. You tired?
I'm good.
Are you trying to sleep?
Naps?
Are you trying to sleep on the Titans with me over here?
I am.
Oh yeah. Let's both put our heads down a little bit then, man. Take that siesta.
Okay, give me 1 second though. By sleeping on the Titans, I'm gonna sleep on the fact that I'm not buying into their offense. Specifically their passing attack. That doesn't mean that I think they're gonna win 5-6 games. I think they can still win 7-8.
Okay.
And obviously there'll still be a challenge to Jacksonville because why would they not be? They always will be.
That's the MO.
But the only reason they wouldn't be is just because Derrick Henry's not there. It's like Derrick Henry has single-handedly beat us, seems like, in their defense. And, Vrabel being Vrabel, it seemed like. And Derrick Henry was the only thing left over from those teams that always beat us. However, I'm not buying into Calvin Ridley, Tyler Boyd, and DeAndre Hopkins with Levis.
It's a pretty interesting thought process there with the Derrick Henry side of things. I hadn't thought about this before until this conversation. Who's the most physical team in the AFC South?
In the AFC South?
Because usually we go to Tennessee on that.
Oh, of course, hands down. I mean, I think in the past, the Colts have been a pretty physical.
They've been quietly physical.
I mean, I know some of the. It's because Quentin Nelson. There was one Quentin Nelson play where he pulled and then put. I think it was a Jaguars player. There's always like this one play that's always circling.
It was in Jags game. They had him mic'd up.
Yeah. And
by the way,
I feel like that one play cemented them as a physical team for the next 2 decades.
It actually what I was told by some folks is like he's not as good as everybody claims him to be from that play.
Okay, yeah,
but 2 years ago their offensive line was a disaster, really disappointed, including him. Disappointed, and then they recovered last year. I agree with you. Like they are a sleepy physical team. Like they don't it doesn't exude out of Indianapolis. Like they just don't have a mentality like Baltimore does. Yeah. If Baltimore is physical or not, we believe they are. If Pittsburgh is physical or not, we believe they are. Those are just the things you get out of those teams and organizations. Tennessee, whether they are or not, we kind of think they are because that's who we know. Indianapolis, they might be, but they don't come across to us like that.
No, and once again, I think with Tennessee in the past, they've won games just based off of it was noticeable.
Yes.
Yes. Mike Vrabel, I couldn't name 2 wide receivers on that team, but hey, you're going to go line in the trenches, we're going to run the football and watch us win. And the physicality got the Titans to where they were. Colts is up for debate a little bit. Once again, I think it is the Quentin Nelson highlight show sometimes, but this is my big proponent of why I'm not sure about Tennessee, and maybe I am sleeping on them. All right, maybe I'm wrong here, but until you know who you are, what you got, it's hard to and I guess the Texans could say this last year a little bit, but until you know what you got, it's hard to say, yeah, you're gonna be a legit team.
Yeah, I get that.
And think about it, man. Derrick Henry losing him is a huge thing.
Huge. I think if we're using Vrabel as a culture standpoint and a representation of what they have been, and of course Henry, you lose that. So what I'm asking you guys is, coming off the season, the Jaguars had one major issue of last year. They weren't physical enough. We left that season saying they weren't physical enough. 3rd and 1, 4th and 1, couldn't stop Derrick Henry. That's what we were left with. By the end of the year, we were left with, you guys are not physical enough as a football team, and you need to fix that. Is there a chance they fixed it to the point where they become the most physical team in the AFC South?
I just don't know enough about the trenches of the other teams off the top of my head to be able to say.
But we don't think Houston's going to be more high flying. Doesn't it feel like that?
Well,
They don't even run with Damian Pierce right now. I mean,
no, for sure. But when you say physical, like it also, I think physical on defense too. I mean, this is why the Ravens are considered like the most physical team because their defense as well. If you're asking me, like, yeah, I just think I think of the Colts game. Like, I think ideally, like you have Anthony Richardson, but like it could be a lot like the Ravens run. You know, like you have Jonathan Taylor, you're going to pound the rock with him. And
maybe
then
Anthony Richardson's the guy that exudes that, kind of like
Philadelphia
and Jalen Hurts.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's a good call.
I mean, listen, I think if Indy wants to be successful, they have to be physical.
Yeah.
Jaguars obviously want to see him be physical, but also I think they have some other pieces where it can be like, I mean, ETN spews this. He can be a physical back, but he's more of like the burner.
Oh, yeah.
Right? And Jonathan Taylor can be that too, but once again, I just think that in this Trevor Lawrence-led offense, it's going to be a lot more passing, a lot more gadgets here and there. I think with Indianapolis, it's going to be, if Richardson's healthy, it's going to be more of just the power run and then, you know, occasionally run the football yourself, Anthony Richardson.
And again, if you can have a resurgence, I don't know if it's a resurgence, but an emergence of Tank Bigsby a little bit, maybe you do feel like that. You get that. Like you get that from a player, right? That he actually is able to pound it and he's unstoppable from inside the 5 or something like that. Then all of a sudden you're like, hey, we're more physical than the other guy. But I do think you hit on a good point. Anthony Richardson's a major part of this from a physical specimen standpoint. Shane Steichen comes from that Philadelphia way. You know they're going to utilize that run.
Oh, it's exactly.
And they want to probably muddy things up more than anybody else in the AFC South, I would guess.
Yeah, but at the same time, though, you added Eric Armstead, you added Mitch Morse, and you got some big hosses up front in the draft. So you very well, I mean, if you want to take offense and defense into account, well, the Jaguars could be the most physical team in the NFL.
Remember,
in the AFC South.
There was a time, like when you played, but even before you, in the glory days of Jack Del Rio, where this felt like a physical presence, right? I mean, you had Fred Taylor, you had Maurice Jones-Drew on the offensive side, you were pounding the rock, and then physically, even their defense, even when it didn't have like huge names maybe and studs, you played that physical brand of ball that kept you in games.
I mean, look no further than John Henderson.
Yeah, so I think there have been times, like it would be interesting to Jacksonville get back to that a little bit, but also include the high flying.
To score a touchdown.
Well, but I'll say this. Kansas City did this last year. People don't want to acknowledge they did it, but they became more like the Ravens and the Steelers than people realize. They were super physical on the defensive side of the ball. Heck, the Buffalo Bills tried to do this. They ran the ball more offensively, right? We don't equate it to them because we think Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes. We think passing. We don't think physical when we talk passing. But these guys did some of that. So that's my point. Can the Jags find a little bit of that? If you were to do a bar graph, right, of the most physical teams in the AFC last year, and the Titans would lead the way and probably Indianapolis next, and then Houston, and then let's put the Jags last for the sake of this. My point is, wherever that was on the bar graph, I think Tennessee has fallen down. Indianapolis, maybe they've increased a little bit or stayed the same. Houston, I don't know where you want to put them, but I think the Jags are at least hoping that what they did in the offseason, they elevated their bar to even it up a little bit more with the leader of the division.
No, for sure. And once again, that's going to all come down to identity, and hopefully that identity is established early on in the season and sticks with them, because that was the problem last year with identity.
Yeah.
And listen, I think with Baltimore in terms, because, you know, they're one of the gold standards, I feel like, in terms of the physicality standpoint. I mean, you add Derrick Henry now, so you know what you're trying to do there. But also sometimes physicality comes out of necessity. Like Baltimore, and now they've added Zay Flowers, right? So like they're starting to get more towards the wide receivers. But like, your best receiver is Mark Andrews. Mark Andrews is kind of a dual threat kind of guy in terms of blocking as well. So sometimes physicality stems from just it's your only resort. With this Jaguars team, and now I'm talking about offense here, you know, you have Travis Etienne. Okay, you brought in Mitch Morse, so hopefully the interior now is going to be a little more, you know, settled. But you still have Christian Kirk. You have a big play in Gabe Davis, and now you just invested a first-round pick on Brian Thomas Jr., who has shown burst, who has shown speed, who has shown that he can be a deep play threat as well. So I wonder how physical is this going to look, because, well, your talent precedes that. Guess what? You can be pretty explosive as well.
Yeah, it'll be a nice, well, if they can find that mix, I think it'll be really good. Hey, last week we welcomed GW Outdoor Solutions to the show, and part of welcoming them aboard, good to have them, is Action Sports Jax Marcel Robinson delivering a Georgia Bulldog Report each and every week here on the Brent Austen Show on the Action Sports Jax 24/7 network. Here's Marcel.
you know what that sound means. It's time for the Georgia Bulldogs Report presented by GW Outdoor Solutions. The Diamond continues to heat up for the baseball team as the Dogs are taking a 5-game win streak into Columbia for their upcoming series against South Carolina. Led by the Perfect Game National Player of the Week, Charlie Condon, widely regarded as one of the best hitters in the entire nation. 7 consecutive games with a home run. That'll do it for you. Also in Bulldogs news, longtime men's tennis coach Manuel Diaz has officially made his retirement official. Diaz announced earlier this season that he would retire at the conclusion of the season. The SEC's all-time leader in career wins guided the Bulldogs to 781 victories, 10 SEC tournament crowns, and 4 NCAA tournament titles in 36 years. Needless to say, he'll be missed up there in Athens. Now, even though it's still spring, we've still got to talk a little football, right? Kirby Smart and company have their eyes set on 4-star safety Omarion Robinson. Robinson is considered to be one of the best recruits in the entire state of Arkansas. He confirmed on his social media that he'll be making an official visit to Athens later this month. The Dogs just sent 2 top safeties to the NFL, so that might be quite the selling point for the Georgia Bulldogs, if you ask me. That'll do it for the Georgia Bulldogs Report presented by GW Outdoor Solutions. Don't let those summer months keep you from enjoying the outside weather. Let GW Outdoors turn your backyard into paradise. Check them out, gwoutdoorliving.com, for more information and set up your free estimate.
That's now Hamby's favorite part of the show.
Oh, yeah. Hamby, stop drooling, man.
Oh, dude, it's everywhere.
Georgia Bulldog Report.
Could be his ringtone.
With Marcel Robinson. Here's the rest of our lineup. Coming up 1 o'clock, Cup Date with Stuart Weber. Well, what a race it was over the weekend. So more on that. A week with Action Sports Jax with Olivia Tassley. And then No Gate Fees presented by Nimnick Buick GMC. That's coming up at 2 o'clock, by the way. And we are talking FHSA rankings. That's been a discussion point. What solutions can we find to make it even better than it already is? And some people don't think it's any good, but we'll find some of the positives in it as well. That's coming up. No Gate Fees presented by Nimnick Buick GMC, 2 o'clock on the Action Sports Jax 24/7 network. It's a new logo, new branding, but with Bold City Heating and Air, it's an old school approach. One of the few locally owned and operated air conditioning businesses left in Jacksonville. And with that comes the perks we miss in the big business world. It's every customer counts kind of service, from when these trucks have pulled up to my home over the last couple of years and when they pull into your driveway as well. From communication to pricing to the actual service, everyone at Bold City Heating and Air cares about you. You know who's coming to your house. You know they will be well trained and they will respect your home. Air conditioning convenience at boldcityac.com. The folks at Bold City Heating and Air also know your AC unit is important and can be a big expense. That's why they have financing to help. No payments, no interest for 12 months on new systems. $50 off any repairs. Stay safe, stay comfortable with Bold City Heating and Air at boldcityac.com. Homegrown in your hometown. Bold City Heating and Air.
Do you have ugly concrete around your home or business? Are you tired of concrete that is cracked, stained, or just plain ugly? Spartan Coatings' range of products provides a surface that is non-porous, easy to clean, antibacterial, and slip-resistant, all with superior durability.
Living in Florida nearly my whole life, I know the toll our weather can take on a garage floor. That's why I had Matt and the crew from Spartan Coatings transform this space. And the best part, they did it in one day.
It was a professional process from step one. The polyurea and polyaspartic system provides superior flexibility, is 4 times stronger than epoxy coatings, and will withstand temperatures high and low. Plus, it comes with a 20-year warranty. Whether it's a garage floor, patio, pool deck, driveway, or your interior flooring, Spartan Coatings has you covered. To get started transforming your ugly concrete surfaces, call 904-671-3930 or visit SpartanCoatings.com today for your free quote.
In Northeast Florida, we love hanging out on the back patio, maybe grilling out lunch or dinner with the family, enjoying the good weather, or maybe enjoying the big game on the TV. Or maybe your favorite team in town, the Action Sports Jax team. This is great, except for when it's really hot or the bugs start coming out. But what if you didn't have to worry about that? Titan Outdoor Solutions will make your outdoor area a comfortable spot any time of the day, any time of the year. This makes too much sense. Titan Outdoor Solutions can give your home an upgrade. Customized pergolas, awnings, controlled shade, even retractable screens. The solution to beating the heat and the bugs and getting more use out of your home is Titan Outdoor Solutions. And this can even help prevent storm damage at your home. Living in Florida and living in your home is already good. Now make it great. Quality products, custom work, locally owned and operated. Visit TitanShuttersAndScreens.com or call 904-484-7580.
Hey everyone, Olivia Tasley here from Action Sports Jax to tell you all the different ways you can watch our new 24/7 network. 3 easy steps. You don't even need a pen and paper to write it down. Step number 1, download the app. Search Action News Jax in your app store either on your phone or your smart TV. Then, once you're on the app, click on that little drop-down menu in the upper left-hand corner with the 3 little lines. That'll show you these options, and boom, right here, click Action Sports Jax 24/7, and you will be brought to our continuous stream channel. That app can be accessed through all these different platforms, whether you have Roku, Fire TV, Smart TV, Apple TV, or Google TV. You can find our app. Now, if you don't have access to the app, don't worry, we still got you covered. We're across all social media platforms from Facebook, Instagram, X, YouTube, Twitch. We have a podcast channel. Plus, check out our short reels on our TikTok. Action Sports Jax 24/7. It's on all the time and everywhere.
It's the place we party in football season with Jaguars All Access.
Welcome to Spring Sports Brewery, everybody. Say hello to our guest tonight. That is Trevor Lawrence.
You can bring your party or event to Spring Sports Brewery in Springfield any day and any time. Rehearsal dinners, corporate events, birthdays. Here at Springs, you can enjoy the inside area and the outside area. Good for any weather, good for any occasion. Watch the games, play the games, shoot some hoops. Beer? Yeah, they have that. Plenty of choices. And sure, this is a brewery, but Strings is also a restaurant, and the food is fantastic. A full menu made from scratch meals. And if you need String Sports Brewery to help with a party at your place, they cater too. Family, beer, food, sports. Spring Sports Brewery in Springfield.
Welcome back to the Brent and Austen Show, streaming on the Action Sports Jax 24/7 network.
Hey, welcome back to the show on a Wednesday. Hope you're having a fantastic day. Big story today. The news is being released more and more. I think the city has now put out that the presentation of the stadium will be on next Tuesday. Again, I don't know if that's that news. I think the newsier side of it is that indicates there's an agreement in place, right? Or close enough to be able to present. And that's the next phase of it. So I think that's exciting. I think it's going to be a big talker over the next week. And 1 o'clock, by the way, the A-Sun is announcing they're moving over to Jacksonville and their headquarters. And so we might get some more reaction about the stadium because there will be some city players involved in that as well. And Austin got more excited about the news that Hamby tried to share with him about the potential for the X Games looking at Jacksonville.
Yeah, man, that's big news.
I'm not sure if I'm supposed to say anything on that, but that was floating around the newsroom.
No, we reported that on this.
That's actually reported stuff?
Yeah.
Okay.
Nice. Yeah, that'd be cool.
See, the thing about this, you know what makes us like so different? We said this about radio, and believe me, there are plenty of people in town that do it. Radio, you can just be like, yeah, I think that's happening. On TV, you're like it's got to be happening. Well,
Brent
and
taking
then
some shots.
And then there's some radio be like, I think that happened.
Oh, get him!
and then in TV, you can't say, I think that happened.
No, you can't.
Right?
Sources say.
Yeah.
And actually have the sources.
Sources? I'm talking about sources.
What is source what?
Sources.
Come on. Hey, by the way, congratulations to Edward Waters Baseball. They just won in Montgomery, Alabama, 8-5 at the Black College World Series. So they will play again today at 5 o'clock. Congratulations to them.
Wait, say that one more time. They won the what?
They won the opening game of
the opening game. Okay.
Yeah, Black College World Series in Montgomery, Alabama. Sweet. And we might actually get Coach on in a more stable place than we had him yesterday.
Yeah.
We might try to get him on today on no gate fees.
Nice. This time on a Ferris wheel.
We tried to get
this time on an airplane.
On a what?
God. I'm on a bus.
They're on a bus. The shot looked good for a minute.
This time on a boat in the middle of the ocean.
It was actually kind of fun. We had great comments in the feed. It was like we were trying to recreate speed.
Yeah, that's funny. That's good stuff. Oh.
Hey, that could actually be something we try. Where can like the craziest place we can get a guest on from?
Ooh.
Like on a boat, right? Would be kind of cool. I've always wanted to do a show on a boat.
I still want to do a show where I get tattooed during the show.
During the show? Mm-hmm. Well, shoot. Do you have any more room?
Yeah, I got room, man. Yeah.
On the left.
Well, tell us when it's happening. Let's go.
Let me think about it. I think what I want first.
So there's that.
When's the last time? When's the last tat?
Last tat was my wrist. That was, 2 years ago?
Okay.
Yeah, I'm
2
slacking,
years ago.
man.
Did I see in your fight, did you have something like say 49? Did it say 49?
49. Yeah, it's the highway from my mom's house to my grandparents' house.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Highway 49.
I didn't know that. I thought that was new.
No,
I was like,
come
I
on,
think
Brent.
that's
I've had
too.
my back's been done since I played football.
Sorry.
Yeah, you're good.
I haven't checked it out.
Yeah. And thankfully, like, I can't tell if it's really fit because, sometimes tattoos fade. I can't tell what my back looks like, which is a plus because if it's fading, I'll never know.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Do they fade?
Yeah, I mean, it's just natural.
It is.
But, like, usually that's why I get all black and, like, a white and everything because, like, it lasts a little longer as
You have a
opposed to
tattoo?
color.
Amby?
No, I don't.
It's Kids Corner, man. Come on. Needs his parents' permission.
Oh, come on.
I get the sense, like, I'm thinking Kaylee will want a tattoo.
Yeah?
I get the sense. Like, I don't know if she, like, really, really wants it. I don't know if it's a little bit
peer pressure?
I don't know how much peer pressure is involved in the tattoos these days, but
some.
Like, I still don't have a desire to get a tattoo. I don't know how many people at my age do.
I was going to say, yeah, you're...
Where's the tattoo window?
It's gotta be done by like 33, 34.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
My mom got her.
Your first one.
Okay. Oh, okay.
You can't just like start and go from bare to fully added at 35 and 40.
Yeah.
45.
I mean, I started like at 14, 15, so yeah.
Were you that young?
Yeah. Might have been in a guy's kitchen.
It is interesting. Like, now I do see a lot of kids playing that have tattoos.
Oh, I thought I was the coolest in high school when I had... Listen, man, you want to talk about cool. To have 2 tattoos on both your shoulders and being a senior in high school, whoo, playing basketball, come on. Come on. People were murmuring. I was a hot topic around town, Brent.
Where are you?
Oh,
commodity.
Hot commodity.
The hot topic or hot commodity? That's two different things.
Both. Yeah.
Here, what else should we tell your mom that she hasn't learned about your high school days?
Oh man, I mean, she's listening. She knows plenty, Brent. We're all good. I'm still trying to repent for some of the things. Plus, it's Mother's Day this weekend, so let's be easy.
Mm-hmm.
Let's be easy.
So were we seriously on? I didn't think it would be 33, 34. I thought a lot of people at like 45 or 50 would get tattoos still.
Oh, you're talking about like a midlife crisis or something?
Yeah, actually like 40. What is midlife crisis now? Has that moved to 45? I don't think I've had one yet. 46.
That's coming. Don't worry. Yeah, that's coming. I don't know.
I feel
Frank
like
Thomas stuff.
Brensky, yeah, you to drive a Mustang and stuff. Yeah.
I feel like midlife crises, the age has moved down. Younger now.
Oh,
than it
really?
used to be.
Really?
I feel like that just because people would switch jobs so much more. People look for fulfillment in their work way more than they used to.
That's not bad, Hamby. Like, you're bringing some good points to the table here.
Back in the day, man, nobody looked for fulfillment in their work. They just did whatever they needed to do, and
For
the
sure.
fulfillment was filled at home or in their hobbies. Now everybody wants to feel some type of way about how they work.
Yeah, it's
not a
almost
bad
like
thing, it's just different.
Yeah, it's almost like society now. Like the blueprint is like you have to have a job, but you have to like love what you're doing, or else like what are you wasting your time for?
Yeah, that's the whole influencer
And that's kind of preached.
thing. And
Yeah,
everything.
it is. Yeah.
That's interesting. I've never really thought about it like that.
I never thought about it like that either. See, I just think like I've had my midlife crisis knocked out of me so many times. Like, I don't have the energy for a midlife crisis, man.
Think about your grandparents. That was never even a thought for them. To love what I do? That's not even a factor at all.
Yeah.
But now that's everything.
Hobbies, what are those, man? Like
Right.
they grew up on farms, yeah.
Yeah, I guess there is some truth to that. Although I've always said we have these conversations a lot now. Like Kaylee knows what she wants to do. She wants to be a teacher. Which, by the way, it's not like you're going to get rich being a teacher, most likely, right?
No.
So she wants to do that.
But it's
That's good.
fulfilling.
Follow your passion.
Yeah.
And but I've always thought that was important. I never really looked at it in that way, like you just said it. But I do think it's important. I mean, you can be driven by money, and as you get older, the money stuff is like, okay, it would have been cool to make that kind of money and be in a little bit of different spot rather than being fulfilled by your passion to do whatever at minimum wage for a little bit.
To each their own.
But I do think getting started, I mean, if you got a passion to go, I still think that's a great starting point. Then what you might realize is, okay, I'm not making enough money here. I'm not that passionate about it. Now I'm changing course.
But I know a bunch of
Monty
people.
Harrison figured that out.
No, for sure. But listen, there's a lot of rich people who are miserable too. You know, so
absolutely.
I mean, I'm kind of with Ham. Man, Hammy going for the teens corner, the tweens corner over there. The tweens corner all of a sudden, growing up before our eyes, man.
When I was growing up, I don't even know what midlife crisis technically means, but I remember hearing my parents talk about it, and there was a lot of people they would know. Yeah. And I think you just hear it. It felt like they were in their early 40s around that time. And what you would most commonly, I would get the reference around somebody bought a new car.
Yes.
Right? Like a sports car or something like that.
Yeah.
Or somebody cheated on their spouse.
It's a midlife crisis?
Well,
okay.
They got kind of.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, that was when it was like labeled, like, okay, they're whatever, been married 20 years, and then
you need something new.
Something happened, and then.
Yeah, he was probably a French guy or something.
Yeah, like, I don't know. Like, that's where.
Jiu-jitsu teacher.
Got him.
That's what I remembered.
Yeah.
Are there other examples of midlife crisis? Like, what is it? Is it a tattoo?
So I think of midlife crisis. I think of like, it's like a drastic change. So like, you get a new vehicle or a motorcycle. All of a sudden, you start, we talked about before, blasting Pitbull in the minivan, and you're going to the clubs and everything when you're like 40 or 50 years old. Like, those can all kind of fall in the vein, I think, of a midlife crisis. Mine's gonna be the opposite. I'm gonna like come in one day with like a suit and tie and like start talking about investments and like being professional. That's gonna be my midlife crisis.
You can come in with a briefcase.
Man, I've worn the same shoes since I was in middle school. Like, what am I doing with my life? Time to cut these dreads, shave this beard, and get in the business world.
There probably have been many people that have thought that about you.
Here comes professional Austin. Speaking of professional, do we have time for the Brewers Royals clip, Brent? Before we go,
yeah, I think Camby's got it.
Have you heard this?
I didn't hear this, so you brought it to the table.
Yeah, so I was watching the Brewers game last night, as I do, and this happened during the game, and I watched this live, and I couldn't believe, I didn't just check this out.
Give me 1 second.
Give him 1 second, but okay, a little more.
So you were watching the game live?
Yeah, I was watching the game live, and it happened, and then I'm like, did he just get? I'm like, you'll see. There's an awkward silence here. And when I say an awkward silence, that's not like 5-6 seconds. We're talking live television.
We're good.
There's like just hit it with a hammy, and Brent, you be the judge here.
Uh-oh. Hold on.
Now, if you can imagine,
it's a nice pitch.
Great pitch.
Give me 1 second.
It's a great pitch. Now I'm upset just because I got to relive that. But don't worry, the Brewers won last night, so we're all good. If you're going through a midlife crisis, Nugenics is for you, Brent. Got him, Delphonic.
And not only that, but Mom jumps in. I know it all.
Oh. Yeah, I didn't see that one.
Yeah, you didn't see that one.
Yeah, all right, Mom. Thank you. All right, here we go.
And then you drop the deuce on the outside part of the plate. That big curveball, nice, right out of the zone, just like you like it.
Listen for the silencer. I thought the guy got fired on the spot. Nothing. Still nothing.
Here's what's happening.
Still nothing.
Wow, how about the...
Dude, I thought he got fired right there.
Up the left field line, and Velasquez makes the play. Just to clarify, a deuce is a curveball. Yeah, it's two.
As Castellanos ripped that one to left field with a 3-1 count.
That's great. And they just like pull him and like no one's calling the game now?
No.
Like, what was happening?
So here's what happened. You could actually hear the click. Like in here, this is what I'm assuming happened. In here we have like this cough button, right?
Okay, yeah.
If I'm talking, you probably can't hear me right.
Can't hear you. Yeah.
What I just said is if I'm talking right, you can't hear me right now when I held it down.
Yeah.
You can actually, I think, hear them hit it off. Like click it, like a cough button. That's what that is.
Yeah.
And I think you can hear it right after because
they're laughing.
They're laughing.
Okay, gotcha. That's
so
what it was.
My guess is they're laughing because they
click it though. Why? Well, then why?
I don't think they knew how to respond. So they're just like, we're going to play this one safe, right? You know how many of these guys have been fired as of late?
No, I know. That's true. That's true. Okay, well, then that makes sense.
By the way, the deuce is a curve. I mean, you call it a curveball deuce, but
no. And like, listen, I knew what he was talking about. But then, like, I thought it was worse because there was so much silence. I'm like, dude, somebody say something. Like, did the guy just get pulled and now we're not going to?
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was so awkward.
That was good.
I mean, that was.
I love
like,
that you were watching it live, too.
Of course.
But I also see if I'm in his spot, I don't reference it. But I actually appreciate the fact that he referenced it.
Yeah.
Like, hey, a deuce, by the way.
Well, I appreciate it because you had to, after 30 seconds of radio silence, you had to address something.
What I was anticipating is he would come on and I could hear a little bit of a cackle out of him as he's coming back on. But he didn't.
Professional.
Yeah, he didn't. So that's like, I have a little pause of maybe I'm not right about that, but they had to be laughing, man.
Oh, you have to. But once again, and I guess I get where you're coming from, where you got to remain the professional. But like if we're calling the game, Brent, you say that to me, guess what, man? I'm not hitting the button. I'm dying. I'm dying for the next 2 innings.
Oh yeah, it happens quite a bit here.
Yeah. And then needless to say, I ended up missing the end of the game because I turned it off, and then of course the Brewers go up on a game-winning home run in the top of the 9th. But
you know what else is wild about, especially the Brewers? I mean, we're talking about what's his name? I mean, who broadcasts for years and years.
Oh, Bob Uecker?
You just laugh the whole time.
Oh, I know. It's
you
the
think
best.
you can get away with anything at the Brewers broadcast?
Yeah. Bob Uecker and listen, I know he's on his back 9 and everything, but that will be one guy I'm sad to see go because that guy is the soundtrack to my childhood.
Yeah, it's so good.
You know what I'm saying?
So
it's wild.
Yep. And many others in movies. That's going to do it for a Wednesday edition. Furniture Source in the Avenues Mall tomorrow. We will be. Come on out, say hello to us, go shopping at Furniture Source in the Avenues Mall. Cup Date up next with Stuart Weber on the Action Sports Jax 24/7 Network.